stop by for the Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing Peaches until the sun lights. Summer shooter beams so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast, episode 26. We may or may not have some special guests showing up later. No idea. Things happen. They're always fluid behind the scenes. That being said, you got us. This is all you really need.
Stuck with it.
That's all we need. So let's go ahead and introduce. This is the Core 4, as we call it. I don't know. I was going to say the Triforce, but only like the Tetraforce. Something like that. First, we've got Nintendo Talk down here. I think your camera's mirrored again.
No, it's not. I changed it.
Did you really?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, just your letters are backwards on your shirt again.
Oh, weird. Hello, everyone. How we doing? We got a spicy show for you.
Spicy one. There's a little play test going on right now. I may or may not have seen actual footage of it. Eric's here. How you doing, man?
I am. Good.
Dude, why does my pumpkin background look better on your camera than mine?
Don't know.
Shout out to Obsbot. Thank you for having a nice camera. Just over there flipping the camera. Thunderstash Gaming here wearing the Suns jersey.
What's up? Yeah, I busted out the Halloween edition.
Oh man, who are they playing tonight for opening night?
You don't know who we're playing?
Dude, I'm watching the Bucks, man. I don't even worry about the 76ers tonight.
Playing the Clippers without Kawhi because you know,
I mean, whatever. He'll be gone like 90% of the season.
Yeah. So I actually took a bonus bet. I don't bet, but I had $100 to use like in bonus bets from buying something.
Oh sure, yeah.
On Fanatics. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Throw it on there.
What, did they win?
Yeah, just that we win.
Yeah. Just
I didn't bet the line, just straight up. Straight up bets.
Straight up win. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Straight up is the cleanest way to do it. Just win or lose. Yep. Yeah, you don't win as much, but whatever.
Hey, if I win, it's a Switch game.
Okay, there you go.
Right. There you go.
And then you guys got me. What's up, guys? Nintendo Prime here. We got some pretty good topics for you today. Obviously, two of them that are in the headline here. The topic roulette's a little weird because one of the topics I literally already called ahead of time because I was so busy today I couldn't take full notes. And I'm like, well, you know what? I literally make videos on all of this. So what a shocker. I'm taking the Switch 2 topic because I literally didn't have time to make notes today for it. Been really busy. DoorDash is crushing me right now. That being said, let's go to our topic roulette. Let's, who's going to go first? How about Eric? Why don't you go first?
Yeah, okay. Well, I will take the Mario and Luigi leaked 2.5 weeks early.
Oh, man, that is so disappointing.
It is.
That's very disappointing. Yeah, that's going to be a fun conversation there. I can already tell. Let's go to Thunderstash.
I will take the third-party remasters that we want on Switch next year.
I knew you were excited about that. Literally before the show, he's like, dude, we get to talk about remasters. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun.
And then, Nintendo Talk. I wonder what your topic is.
I will do the online playtest that's happening right now.
Yeah, happening now that they both could play, but they're not because they are on a show. Mm-hmm. Dedication.
Appreciate it.
It's going on for 12 days. They got plenty of time. It doesn't sound like it's limited play. It's literally just play as much as you want for the next 12 days.
What's that, Mom? I gotta go. Oh, sorry.
That's funny. All right. So Eric, what are we talking about, man?
Yeah, all right. Well, we're talking about the disappointing news that I guess happy news for some people, but Mario and Luigi Brothership leaked 2.5 weeks early. It seems to be a box of physical copies meant for retail. Was behind the leak. It was about 2.5 weeks out, and then the game leaked less than 48 hours after that box of physical copies were sold. Dumb. What can Nintendo do to prevent this from happening on Switch 2? Well, for me, right away, it's don't put out a hackable Switch right away day one. So that helps.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Nintendo must not have been aware there was already a known vulnerability on the off-the-shelf component.
Yeah.
Like that's like the obvious is like
Yeah.
don't make your system much harder to hack and do. Look, it's going to get hacked eventually.
Mhm.
Happens to all of them. PlayStation 5's hacked right now. Like it's going to happen to all of them, but at least make people have to work at it for a couple years to get through it. And that alone will prevent at least the ROM leaks to be so extreme for a couple of years. The other thing is that just fixes the whole thing is don't send out copies of games 2.5 weeks early. That would help. What I'm actually worried about the most, and I said this in my video on it, is the easiest way to prevent it is to just not have physical games. And that is a scary thought.
That hurts.
Because when you have this fell off a truck, an entire box is supposed to go to retail with 28 copies, fell off a truck. They're stolen. Let's just be clear. These are stolen copies. They were selling them for less than retail. Like, let's not pretend that they paid for all these copies and they're just taking a loss. No, this is a stolen box of copies that probably went to a retail or went to a warehouse or something and were being sold. And obviously led to it immediately being leaked as soon as somebody got a copy off Mercari that could dump. I'm very disappointed. I think it's the earliest a first party Nintendo game has leaked. We've seen copies get sold early on Mercari. Happened with Tears of the Kingdom. And that was previously one of the earliest ones. That was 9 days. This is 2.5 weeks. Like this is. I mean, the game's gonna be beaten if it's not already beaten by now, and uploaded everywhere. And I know, like, Nintendo's running around trying to deal with people not wanting people to share images and stuff of the playtest, and now they're gonna have to deal with that even more. The playtest has started, and people are gonna be live streaming it and all this other stuff. They need to be worried more about the Mario and Luigi stuff, not a public playtest that they invited people to. Worry about this. Right? Like, you need to find a way to try to nuke anything like this that appears online for this game. They're not probably going to because they didn't with the prior games. Because once it's public, then there's probably I don't even know, at least thousands of people playing the ROM right now, potentially hundreds of thousands. I don't know how popular this game is. Like Tears of the Kingdom, I think at one point had 1 million people playing the ROM, which is insane.
Damn.
Now, I don't think this game's as popular as Tears of the Kingdom, so I don't think we're going to quite see those kind of numbers. But who knows? Like, it's 2.5 weeks early. People are not, some people are just going to be impatient and say, screw it. It's so easy to emulate these games. I'll just grab the ROM file because it's everywhere. So that's my scary thought is that, like, for Switch 2, Nintendo either eventually slowly transitions to digital only. It won't be at launch. But let's say once the Switch is hacked, once games start getting dumped, Nintendo's like, that's when we're done selling physical copies. That's one way to deal with it. The other way, and this is something we've seen them experiment with a little bit, release digital first, physical a couple weeks later. Yeah, it's still going to get dumped online. It just won't be before release.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, literally, like, just make a release date, release it digitally, and on release date, maybe send out the physical copies. So, yeah, it would suck for people like me who likes physical media, like first party Nintendo stuff. But yeah, I mean that's how you cut it off, because I don't think no physical. I don't think that's needed yet, but I think digital should have the exclusive, release at least.
Yeah, I mean, what did they? I mean, they did this with a Shadow Drop, right? It was Metroid Prime Remastered. Didn't they release that physically later, or is that only?
Yeah, they did that later. Physically,
no, that was a Shadow Drop, obviously surprise and a direct. I don't think they're going to be doing this. If there even is if they decide to delay physical copies, it's not going to be at launch of Switch 2 because again, Switch 2 is not hack day one, unless they really messed up. It should not be hack day one. I mean, this is a fully custom chip. It's going to take hackers a bit to figure out how to get around all the protections, both in the firmware protections and the hardware. See, the reason the Switch was hack day one is it was a hardware vulnerability. It was a known hardware vulnerability. Nobody thought Nintendo was literally going to launch with an off-the-shelf component. They thought it would at least be modified a little bit. Nope, it was off the shelf. This the same stuff they were using in the old Tegra handheld thing from NVIDIA, and it was like, well, all right, we already knew how to hack this. So that being said, and it was really weird too. It was a real simple hack, just jump a couple pins, man. What an easy way to get around stuff. That being said, obviously I think the security and all the protections of this will be better. I mean, Stash, what are you thinking? Like, I'm scared that Nintendo is going to start just like really pushing towards digital to get away from this.
Yeah, it's tough because we live in an era where a lot of people, are emulating. Back when I was growing up, it was very, very taboo to emulate. But also, a lot of people didn't know about it. Truly. I'll actually give you a story. And I hope nobody frowns upon this. But when I was in middle school, okay, so this is circa 1997, 98. I used to buy hard disk from, Best Buy, wherever. Even Walgreens, the Walgreens down the street from me used to sell them. And I used to put Nesticle. Do you guys remember Nesticle? The first Nintendo emulator, NES.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to put Nesticle on a hard disk with some games, and I would sell them at school. Because, that's what you do when you don't have a job yet. When you can't get a job, that's how this is what's paying for the video games behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So, from that point, right, to where we are today, I mean, it is so mainstream now. I see people on Twitter all the time, especially if you follow like Wario64 and you see anybody in the comments, right, that are complaining about the price of a game. You'll have a whole host of people that are like, oh, just pirate it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just download it. And it's like, oh man, like back in the day, you really just didn't talk about that. So it's changed a lot. And that kind of goes into my answer because I could say that this has been going on forever as far as consoles getting hacked. I still remember the PS1 mod chip back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone remembers that. People used to have CD cases just with, burned PS1 disc. So this is nothing new. It's been going on forever. To my knowledge, every console has been hacked. Some are hacked quicker than others. So do you make that kind of like knee-jerk reaction if you're Nintendo to be like, you know what? We've been getting hacked forever. So is Sony. So is Microsoft. We're just going to throw in the towel and stop doing physical and remove our physical store presence. I don't see Nintendo doing that. Sure, they're going to try harder on the Switch to make it harder to hack it. But the thing is, in my viewpoint, the people who do hack the consoles, they get excited when a console manufacturer says, we're going to make it harder to hack this. It's more of a challenge. They literally say, challenge accepted. Cool. Let's get together and figure out how to hack this. Like, this is what they do. This is their passion. So I think this will continue to happen, unfortunately. But I don't think it's going to change Nintendo's, releasing physical games. If anything, I think we all kind of know the writing's on the wall. I think some numbers were released recently within the last week or two talking about Sony's like most recent quarters numbers for physical versus digital based on like new game releases that also had a presence on the store shelf, which is a good comparable because you need that. And it was the highest it's ever been. It was 78%. And Microsoft, as we know, is at like 91% based on the article that I'd read. So we already know what direction Sony and Nintendo is going in. If I'm Nintendo, I'm like, hey, man, we could have a monopoly on the physical presence without doing anything. It's just because our competition wants out. Now we're the only console manufacturer at all the stores. So I got to look at it from that perspective too, because that's kind of a gift if you're Nintendo, especially being Nintendo. Like you are a family console. Sometimes you're the first console, or oftentimes that's the first console that people ever play. So this is great. You know, you got grandparents, parents, aunts and uncles going to the stores. And what do? They buy Nintendos, right? For gifts. So I think there's an advantage there. And I think that advantage could outweigh things like this happening. Now, I'll give you another thing. Last week, Mario Party comes out, right?
Mhm.
I had this game pre-ordered the day it comes out. What do you guys think happened with Best Buy? Just take a guess. Take a guess.
What, they didn't have it?
Of course. Of course. And I'm not the only one. I talked to somebody else directly about this that did not get his pre-order in. And it's mind-boggling. I mean, he told me his story, which has happened to me before, where you get a text from Best Buy saying it's ready. You go down there to pick it up, and then they're like, yeah, we don't have it. And you're like, huh, interesting. Yeah, you got the bucket? Like, interesting. I see it on the store shelves right now. How's my copy not here? And then Best Buy gets a manager over, and then they can't figure it out. And they're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. Your copy's not in yet. And a lot of people did the buy two, get one free. So if they void it out, it's like a chain reaction that screws up your whole buy two, get one free order. And then they can't reinstate it. And it's a shit show. Okay. There's no other word for it. And it's really unfortunate, right? But my point is that that's what happened to him. My Best Buy, they straight up didn't have it. The Walmart across the street from me, they didn't have it. And again, I asked them if they had the new Mario Party Jamboree. Of course, they've never heard of it. They asked me if I'm sure it's coming out for the Switch. Yes. Are you sure it's coming out today? Yeah.
You should have said, "Do you know who I am?"
Of course, man. Well, it's like, dude, I'm almost 40 years old. You guys talk to me like I'm a damn teenager. Yes. I know exactly when this game's coming out. I always have. And so they didn't have it. And so I had to drive to Target. And of course, I get it on Target's website and I buy it real quick. Because, you know, from the drive from where I was to Target.
Yeah, it could sell out or something.
It could sell out. Yeah. And Best Buy doesn't have it. And Walmart doesn't have it. So by the time I get there, I go to get, obviously Mario Party, and my order's not ready. Of course, the online order.
Yeah.
So I go to the back. I wait probably 15, 20 minutes because it's early in the morning. Finally find somebody. They get me Mario Party. I go to the register. I buy it. I get back on my phone before I leave the store. Cancel my online order for store pickup because that's not ready inside Target. And, it's just this happens I swear to you. I am not exaggerating, guys. This happens all the time. So then I got to ask, okay, are these games not getting here quick enough? Because this always happens with Best Buy. And it's happened a lot with Nintendo titles. So then it makes me want to circle back when I hear like Mario and Luigi is already in stores, 2.5 weeks early. It's already shipped. I'm thinking, great. That means I can actually get it on time on November 7th when it comes out. That's the first thing I think. And then, of course, the news comes out almost like a day later, maybe the same day, that it's leaked and it's online everywhere. And it's just like, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have both, apparently, is what they're telling us, is that if they ship it too early, somebody is going to leak it out. It's going to purposely fall off the back of a truck and then make its way onto the internet. And again, we saw this happen with Tears of the Kingdom. And like you said, it's true. It was over 1 million. They missed out. Like, if you take that number, I think we've done this before, but just take conservatively. We know it's over 1 million, but 1 million times the price of the game, the $70. And dude, that's a lot of money.
Let's play a game real quick with the chat and you four or three. 30% chance over or under that Nintendo releases a digital only SKU of the next console. Both of the competitors have done it.
At launch or just ever?
Ever.
Over.
Oh yeah.
I'm on the
yes.
over on that. Yeah.
Okay.
I can
within
see
the
them
first 2 years.
Oh,
That one's tougher.
because I think they'll bring a light version out 2 years in. Will that light version be digital only though?
Because it would help them compete price wise. Because Nintendo has always been like the cheapy console to buy, and it
Like removing a little card reader, they only cost a few pennies compared to a disc drive.
they'll make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, Nintendo would try to make a huge deal out of it. Like, oh man, look at this! It's so cheap because we don't have to take physical cards. It's like, yo, dude, shut up.
Yeah,
We can-
I think it's possible.
I think it's gonna. Here's the thing, like, yeah, sure. Within the first 2 years, I think at the end of the first 2 years, yes, when they do their first revision,
Hmm.
I think there'll be a digital. I
They'll
don't
pair
think-
it with like a year of Nintendo Switch Online or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that's what I think. I could be wrong, by the way. Nintendo might just have physical the entire gen, like they did with Switch, and I mean that's what I want. But it's also I get it, and here's the thing: there's a lot of people out there that are digital only, so the card reader is useless to them. So if they can save a little money on the system and get it cheaper, but the thing is, like that's the thing for Nintendo. Like the reason it's cheaper for the other two is because legitimately, it's actually a significant chunk of money chopped off of manufacturing to not have the disc drive in.
Yeah.
It's not significant to remove a card reader.
Because I see with Nintendo, they're pushing those vouchers still. They're pushing like the
Oh, yeah, they want people to buy digital.
So it's like they're kind of like
You're saving money in digital. I'm like, Nintendo's probably making more money per copy on digital if you use the vouchers than they are physical.
2 for $100 isn't that big of a deal, honestly.
Yeah, it's 100% profits for Nintendo. By the way, there's no middleman.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if we'll get one.
okay,
I think they gotta kind of watch to see what Sony and Microsoft does. Because I think they should really, really take advantage of being the only console manufacturer in the stores. And if you do a digital only version, then you don't have those people. You don't give them a reason to go into the store and see all of your games out on display. Versus, you're counting on them to turn on their system and go onto the eShop and look at everything. Whereas you might be able to catch them when they're out at Target buying something else. Or Walmart buying something else. And then they stroll by the video game section and see some games and like, oh, I didn't even know this came out. I'm going to pick it up right now.
You might have like a little, like you ever been in Target and there's like the physical games, but up top they have like the digital cards. That would be a hell to live in, but that could be a way. Because I don't know. But I do agree with you though. I think they do need a presence, especially because they offer similar products like the Animal Crossing Lego, the Mario Lego, like they're a physical company at heart. So
they are.
Yeah.
They are. That's part of the experience, I think, with Nintendo. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see though what they do for sure. Even Best Buy though, the last couple of times I've been there, man, so many cards, game cards instead of like actual cartridges. I mean, I think it's probably 50-50 right now, Best Buy. I don't know if you guys have been to yours lately, but
yeah, it looks like they're not doing well. Well, they wanted to phase out physical media anyway.
I remember when that story hit and Best Buy was quick to explain themselves that, it's only movies and music. But it felt very much like the way they worded it without saying it, that was for now. Well, it really felt like we'll see what happens. And when it feels like that, the writing's on the wall.
Well, and I know like Walmart has definitely phased out Xbox stuff, which makes sense when 91% is.
Yeah.
They literally have just if you have an Xbox and don't have Game Pass Ultimate, I don't know why you have an Xbox. It's like the only reason they get it. All the games are on PC otherwise. So just Game Pass Ultimate. You get everything day one. Indiana Jones coming up. I ain't got to worry about it. I got Ultimate. I just get it day one. Easy. Like I don't buy games on Xbox really anymore. Outside of like a few sparing third-party games that aren't like on there. And even then, like those games are on other platforms. I don't need an Xbox for it. So yeah, like physical is definitely being phased out by retail. And some of that is just the sales aren't there. Like they're not going to keep investing in stuff when the sales aren't there. The sales I think are still there for Nintendo stuff. But I mean, it is less than it was, significantly so, and it's probably only going to get worse. And that goes back to the whole, hey, how can Nintendo prevent these leaks? Like, okay, sure, you can prevent the ROM leak by taking a bit for your system to get hacked. That doesn't prevent the off the truck selling copies on Mercari from happening. There is one thing they could do, and this would be very annoying. They could make it where physical copies are unplayable until you download a key at launch. You're required to connect to the internet just one time to download the key for your physical copy. People would be pissed about that.
I'd be out at that point. I would just go digital.
That would be so, but it would be also, hey, yeah, you got a physical copy before launch? Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play it till launch. It would be very annoying. And it would only be one time. It would obviously work offline. But it's like, yeah, but what happens if you lose that key?
Yeah.
The only way I'd be okay with that, and there's no way they allow this, is that the key got written to the cartridge. But there's no way. There's no fucking way they're gonna let the cartridges be written to. That's just really opening up Pandora's box at that point. I mean, hey, what are you talking about? Read-write privileges? Oh, Terra leak. Hello. Maybe don't let people do that.
Right.
So yeah, I think honestly what sucks about the whole thing is like the solution is to push digital more and push physical less, or delay physical releases, which again just naturally is going to lead to a decline in physical sales even more rapidly. I do think Nintendo is like a traditional stubborn company, so there is this thing where maybe Nintendo just doesn't care. I mean, they care, but maybe they don't care as much as we think they do, because they do care about the ROMs, but they can't do much about that besides just try to make your system unhackable. And obviously they're going after the emulators, the most popular ones, but there'll always be new ones. So I think the best thing that Nintendo can do is say, hey, we've made more money this generation than ever before. Maybe this is just occupational hazard and they don't actually change anything. And they go, hey, we increased the price of our games by $10. That more than makes up for the copies we lose. Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm not saying that I want to start seeing $70 games for every single Nintendo property, but I could see every big game, every big selling game. I could see, Mario Party's at 10 million sell. Yeah, that's gonna be $70. Any game that's gonna sell well is gonna be $70. I can see it. Which I'm actually I don't really care about the $70 price point, to be honest. It's $10. Games have been $60 since what? The Xbox 360?
Yeah, I think for like a big Zelda, it's a much easier pill to swallow than like a Kirby.
Big 3D Mario.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I would have paid $70 for Kirby the Forgotten Land. That was good. But I wouldn't pay it for the sides for only one. See, so it's like, here's the thing. We say all that. Yeah, okay. Well, the next top-down Zelda might be $70. Yeah, I'll probably still pay it. Like, I'll probably still buy that. Like, that's the thing. Like, value's in the eye of the beholder, and like I look at it as like $10 going to be the difference between me having a really great time and me not. All that it might make me do is not for the $70 games, but if Nintendo standardizes that price point for physical and digital for their top games, it's the games that used to be $40 that are now $60 because that now looks cheap. Those are the games I might be like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna get that.
And then the vouchers look really good because then you're saving $40.
Yeah, I think the voucher price ends up going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Switch 2? Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be $120 for those vouchers, man.
But I mean,
they'll get rid of them when Switch 2 launches, and then bring them back like it's a new feature.
Oh yeah. I mean, physical games already are just most of them are pointless already. Like I still collect physical, but 99% of the games I buy have day one patches. So like that alone makes it worthless. Like Animal Crossing New Horizons is totally
without downloading stuff, just the raw on the dude, you're missing a lot.
You're missing like 80% of the game. It's not even worth it. So
you got terraforming. Enjoy that. You got that. That's all I care about. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the games are fine. Like even unpatched Breath of the Wild back in the day is fine.
Just has some performance issues, but
Yeah,
nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's nothing like there are some games where the polish is so good out the gate that it's fine. But like Nintendo's been going to this thing too, where it's like, yeah, but we're updating games over time to add content, and it's like,
Yeah. And then they're not releasing complete editions of these.
like I'm cool with it in multiplayer games like Splatoon. I'm fine with that because you got to keep that going. It's an online game.
Mhm.
I'm okay with it in Animal Crossing because it's a life sim. If you're not stop adding content, people stop playing.
Mhm.
But oh man, I don't know about like these single player experiences. I really hope that doesn't get. I don't know, man. This whole thing leads back to the stupid leak. Like it's a single player experience and it's leaked out there, and this sucks. It just sucks. Like first new Mario and Luigi in a long time. And now it's just out there. By the way, I know there's some of you celebrating this. I know there's some of you on my Discord server right now on your Steam decks playing it. Glad you're having fun. Also, fuck you. I'm tired of seeing the screenshots of it. No, I'm not gonna kick you off the server. I'm cool with it. But you do what you want. I'm not here to pass judgment on you guys. But it's not your fault.
You're the reason why we can't have nice
But
things.
unless you personally were the one dumping it, it's not your fault. So it honestly comes back to the person who clearly stole the box of it. And oh man, someone had a question that was related to this topic that super chatted, and Chris Gonzalez said maybe you can answer this question since it's on topic. What legally can happen to you if you play the leaked versions of a game before release? Think the worst possible scenario. Because I've never heard of Nintendo going after anyone besides
They put you to death, right?
yeah, put you there. Like they'll try to go after. They'll try to find the person who dumped it. That person could get in a lot of trouble. Everyone else, like if you play the ROM, kind of can't do anything about it. They kind of just leave you alone. If you're playing one of the physical copies, sometimes, and this would be really cruel of them because they are legit physical copies, but they can brick your system. They've done that before. You connect online, they see you're playing it, they brick your system. So your system can't be played anymore, or the account will be permanently banned and you'll lose access to all your digital games. That's like the worst stuff I've seen. They did a lot of that back in the 3DS days, especially when they caught people using flashcards. But I haven't heard a lot of that happening during the Switch era. So I kind of feel like Nintendo is maybe relaxed on being uber aggressive about the people that are actively playing, and instead going aggressively after the people that are enabling you to play, aka the ROM dumpers and the seller. They're absolutely going to try to figure out who this fucking seller is and go after them. Absolutely. Like Nintendo's going to, if they get busted, they get busted. I wouldn't be surprised if a Nintendo employee immediately bought one of the copies just to see if there's a return address, because that's how they can catch them. So like that's one of those things where, or maybe behind the scenes they submit something legal to Mercari and force them to give up account information on them for selling illegal copies. So like there's a lot of play there, but for most of you, like you're just a general consumer who downloaded the ROM off the internet. Technically, downloading that ROM was illegal, but that's more Nintendo's probably not coming after you for that. Your ISP can get mad at you. There has been instances where ISPs have gotten pissed when they find out you're downloading ROMs. That happens, but they usually will just send you a nasty letter, but nothing ever happens from it. They're just concerned that they might get in trouble for allowing you to do that. But again, that comes out of the fact that Nintendo doesn't really go after the ROM actual users. They go after distributors. If you download the ROM and then you share that ROM with people, Nintendo will potentially come after you if they find that out.
Yeah, there's at least 6 or 7 listings on Mercari that sold already.
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as you're not distributing or doing the dumping or the ones selling the illegal copies, you're probably going to be okay. But again, they could brick your system. Probably won't, because they kind of that was kind of a old hat 3DS Wii U era when they were bricking people's systems for that stuff. And they haven't really done that with Switch, and maybe it's because Switch is now region free, and they're just trying to realize that hey, these people aren't the reason the game is out there. So yeah, there you go. I think I kind of answered. Anyone have anything else to add to that?
Nope.
No.
Yeah. Figured I thought about it for a while before I brought it. I'm like, I think I got this. All right. We can probably move on to our second topic. And that, hold on, let's see if I remember the order. This goes to stash. I screwed this up last time. Gave Nintendo Talk 2 topics.
All right. So, yeah, some news came out today about third-party remasters. And PH Brazil, who we all know, reliable source. I think we all say he's reliable. I personally trust him. Nate, I know you trust him.
Yeah.
He dropped a report today where he detailed that Nintendo's internal team is focusing on 2025, mostly products for Nintendo Switch 2, which is good news. Great news.
That it's not going to just be an end of the year thing. So
yeah, exactly. So Nintendo reached out to third parties that just kind of get an initiative going about getting their partners to remaster older games for Switch to fill in the release gaps after Switch 2 launches, which again, this all points to the fact that Nintendo is going to be putting a lot of their resources, almost all of them, into Switch 2. Now, I'm guessing Nintendo has some stuff probably prepared. This would be my guess. They have stuff prepared for Switch 1 already. And that stuff could very well be done. And I'm talking about some of the older Nintendo remasters. For example, Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I mean, it's absent for a reason. It has to be. Why else would you not include Mario Galaxy 2 in the 3D All-Stars unless you had a plan for it at a later time?
Dude, what if Mario Galaxy 2 comes out next year and, they charge like $50-$60 for it, but it's just permanently available while 3D All-Stars wasn't?
Oh, well, that'd be interesting. I mean, I think they should, right?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
By the way, I think they're totally going to bring back 3D All-Stars at some point in the Switch 2 era just because.
Yeah, most likely.
At least digitally or something.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Oh, now it's in 4K." FOMO, 3 months to buy it. Have a good day.
Right.
So there's a lot more to this. The next piece he stated is that he knows about the following games, which this list is pretty exciting. I think the first one's probably the most exciting, a game we've all wanted to come back, and it's from Ubisoft. I'm talking about Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell has been gone for far too long. Excellent franchise. I don't know what Ubisoft is doing with it.
Yeah, it's blacklisted, right? That's that game, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, the game is blacklisted, apparently.
Yeah, like 13 years old or so. Dude, so glad. Like,
yeah.
I know technically, guys, this is not an announcement, obviously, but here's what happened. He said this on the Family Board forums. He said, so the Rayman thing, because one of the games is a Rayman that he brings up, but there's a thing that leaked from Insider Gaming, which is from Tom Henderson, very reliable inside, one of the top tier insiders. He says it's true. They're remaking some sort of Rayman game. Okay, cool. Well, the thing is, that got him excited because he knew about a Rayman game coming to Switch next year. And he's like, all right, since Nintendo just won't give us any news, and I think he's referencing the fact that, hey, Switch 2, fine, you won't say anything. Screw it. I'm excited for Rayman. I'm going to put this stuff out here because it's mostly about third parties. So Nintendo isn't going to give a shit. So, yeah. Oh, Splinter Cell, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. Splinter Cell would be awesome. I personally really enjoy Splinter Cell. Blacklist was great. Yeah, they mentioned Rayman 3.
Yeah. Which may or may not be the rumored remake. Yeah, he doesn't know. But
yeah, I mean, they haven't done anything with Rayman in a long time. Actually, I looked this up not too long ago. Obviously, like, we have a Rayman game on Switch. I think it's Origins.
Yeah.
Or Legend.
Right? Or either one. They're both on Wii U.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think the most recent Rayman game was from like 2012.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And it's amazing.
A long time ago. I mean,
dude, the music.
If we get a new Rayman game next year, it's going to be 13 years later. Just like what you said, Splinter Cell Blacklist 13 years later.
Yeah.
Kind of wild. So yeah, they mentioned that. They mentioned Driver 1+2.
That's crazy.
So a little Driver compilation. That'd be interesting. Driver was always fun. 2 additional unnamed Ubisoft games. He also mentioned games from EA's Wii era, multiple Bandai Namco games, and then 2 big re-releases from a big Western third-party publisher. Who could that be? A big Western third-party publisher.
I'm hoping Rockstar.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
like,
am too. I
maybe
put that on my
Bully or
list.
something.
Yes, Bully. I could see
Bully.
that happening because it came out on Wii.
Mhm.
So it makes sense. And then
Where if it's GTA 5?
it recently,
Like, what the hell?
you guys remember that news from like maybe a month ago about Rockstar getting Bully
Mm,
onto GTA Online?
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, like you can play it right now on your PS5 if you have GTA Online. But then when I read this, I got to thinking like, that'd be interesting because I was looking up like the best third-party Wii games without motion control as your main control. I was trying to do a Google search for that. And I saw Bully on there. I'm like, oh God, Bully would be great. That's
Mhm.
classic, man. So Rockstar would be really cool. GTA 4.
Yeah, GTA 4. With
That's a
Fight
game
City.
that hasn't been re-released since it came out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that could be one. And
Why?
I kept thinking, like, if it's not, what else? Like, Rockstar is the one I immediately jumped to.
And that was on 360 too, so it could definitely run.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it doesn't get re-released. I really don't.
What
of
if
course,
it,
another thing I thought was Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, older Call of Duties? Yeah.
Call of Duty compilation. Maybe find the ones with the best campaign.
Maybe they got on the phone with Phil Spencer and told him, "Hey, let's get the graphically improved versions of Conquer in the Banjo games."
Yeah.
I was literally going to say Banjo because Microsoft said some. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing, but they said basically like Banjo doesn't have a lot of commercial appeal.
Yeah, it was Aaron Greenberg. And apparently it was sarcastic, so he says.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, yeah, but if you graphically update Banjo Kazooie and drop it on Switch,
That's 3 to 5 million easy.
yeah, it's gonna get 3 to 5 mil, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect
I would love to
audience
see
for it.
that.
And by the way, if they do that and even bring it over to PS5, now with Astrobot, it might sell 1 million over there too.
Mm-hmm.
So
What do you think the odds are, especially with the way or at least I think that Microsoft is going to start releasing games on other platforms? What do you think the odds are about Fallout 3, possibly
Oh,
Fallout 4, and really capitalize on the show? Season 2's coming out next year. It
yeah,
was already greenlit. It was greenlit almost immediately. And I'm like, man,
that show blew up.
how smart would it be to tap into 140 million people?
I can see like a New Vegas port or something.
I mean,
don't
New
know if-
Vegas would be great. That's a
Yeah.
great game.
Yeah.
A very different version of it, but New Vegas is awesome. And
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who doesn't like New Vegas. That'd be great. And it'd be really cool if they want to do that, if they plan to bring Fallout 76 and future Fallouts to Switch 2. You get that initial introduction to that 150 million Switch audience late in the game. Even though it's late in the game, it doesn't matter. It's an offline
Mhm.
game. It could still be really fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. I think that'd be great. I'd love to see it. And another game I thought of in it, a reason why, one, it was a good Wii title, but we have part 3 on Switch, and that's Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Mm.
Yeah, I love Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Especially since we have 3.
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. And again, the other game I had on my list was Bully and GTA 4. So they also mentioned games from EA's Wii era.
Yeah.
And so we're getting that Sims game
Yeah.
that's coming out this year. And
Or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick it up for the lady because she loves Sims, and she specifically asked probably a year or two ago, like, where's Sims on Switch?
Yeah, I gotta ask
like-
Yulia if she wants me to get that for her or not, because she
like,
used to really be into Sims 4 on PC for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
Mm.
Last Sims I played was Sim City, of course.
Oh,
That was the
shit.
last one I played legit.
Yeah,
I was in computer class at school and on the Super though. That was a long time ago.
well, that's a very long time ago. Yeah.
I have a
Um,
deep cut one. Red Steel. Do you guys remember that on the machine?
Oh, Red Steel.
It is a lot of motion, but
It
there
is.
is Red Steel 1 and 2, and I do think that it could be modernized pretty easily. And it's Ubisoft, so
Yeah.
And Red Steel 2 is really good.
it's really good.
Like legit. The problem was that Red Steel 1 ruined the reputation of the IP, so people didn't give 2 a shot. And I'm like, no, guys, 2 fixed.
And it looks good still.
Yeah, it still looks good. I mean, it's just like No More Heroes back then. Like, it looks good in that era, and it still looks good today. Some of those art styles are just timeless. You know, you throw some up-res with that, and it's beautiful.
You think we get any Wii U games? Because I was thinking about EA, and then I thought about Mass Effect.
Yep, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about it. We got Mass Effect 3 on Wii U. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out a couple of years ago. And what was it? The Mass Effect trilogy, obviously the original trilogy was on PS3 and 360. That's where I first played them and beat them. I think that would be a really good candidate. And like you think about other games in that era, like the Wii got Batman. And
That's
of
on
course
Switch.
that
isn't
is
it?
on Switch now. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, it's not optimized.
Yeah.
It does not run very good, which is perplexing, especially since it was on Wii. But I gotta imagine they could get Mass Effect on there, right? Just a
Madden.
matter of if they want to. Madden, yeah.
Give me freaking Madden, man.
Yeah, I think Madden would get saved for Switch 2. They'll give us a current version.
You'd hope so, and it better have all the game modes. Can't do this no franchise mode crap like they used to do back in the day.
I mean, look, I'll tell you, if they want to get rid of Ultimate Team, I'm cool with that. I literally never touched that mode, but I know that's their big money maker. Of course, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: we've been getting NBA 2K this whole time. Mad shout out to 2K for that from year one.
Yeah.
We've been getting 2K, and you know, it wasn't really until, gosh, like the last 2 years that they finally were like, yeah, we got to stop like giving you every feature because like we're trying to take advantage of the new systems. But hey, it doesn't matter. We have a new system coming, so it'll be good. We'll get back to having a modern version, and we'll see with that DLSS if we can finally get 60 FPS in that game on Switch.
I know, because like I bought 2K the first year it came out on Switch, and yeah, it was just that frame rate, man. It's like the difference,
man. Yeah,
the difference. So I was excited at the idea of being, Switch 2, we could play 2K at 60 FPS. That's going to be awesome. You would hope so, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there. What about Bandai Namco game? What could Bandai Namco do?
Gosh, Bandai Namco. Yeah, because Bandai Namco, they said they had a couple projects. He said.
Yeah, multiple Bandai Namco games.
They did Pac-Man World. Did they do World 2 or World? I don't know. I could see one of the sequel or whatever. Or did they did Repack.
Yeah, they did Repack. I got that.
Yeah.
Bandai Namco Wii games. Let's see. They did. What about Tales of the Abyss?
Okay. Yeah.
I could see that.
This is gonna be that one. What if it's Wii Ski?
That was
one game I never played, but apparently they made and put it on Wii.
Pac-Man Party.
Oh man, Pac-Man Party.
What about Ridge Racer? That would be cool.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, and I know what people want. Let's just be honest. This isn't Wii era, but people want Xenosaga.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's really what they want. They want them to just remaster Xenosaga, put it there. It'll sell all right.
They did do Mario Super Sluggers.
Yeah, they did. There it is.
There it is.
Baseball game.
Right, there we go.
We still don't have it, so it would make sense.
Remaster Super Sluggers. Let's go. That would be sick.
That's a possibility, probably, right?
Yeah, I would say that's a high possibility. Nintendo owns the rights to it. Just tell them to do it. And they have studios at Bandai Namco that literally just make Nintendo stuff. So,
Soul Calibur would be nice.
I was just gonna say that would be amazing.
Give us Soul Calibur with Link in it again.
Yeah, bring Soul Calibur 2 back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, update.
That was epic.
Dude, update Link to have an alternate skin for Breath of the Wild.
That'd be a good move.
That'd be a huge selling point. People will pick that up.
That is a great game. Soul Calibur is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of my favorite Dreamcast games.
Yeah,
Yes, there's a lot of options there. Yeah, they publish so many games. Just
yes, they do.
if I look through this list, it would take forever. So let's move on. Another point that he mentioned is that, the goal of the initiative, right, to get all these third-party remasters is to make sure that for all the people who don't upgrade to Switch 2 next year, they still have a steady stream of content releasing to fill in their game time. And I think we all kind of figure that was going to happen, that we're going to continue to get that steady flow. That's what Nintendo said. They were going to continue to support it. But I like the fact that they're really trying to get third parties to support it. Because again, that gives us hope that they're going to be putting almost all of their resources into Switch 2. But then it begs the question, does this suggest there will be little to no cross-gen games?
I kind of feel like outside of day one, maybe. Like I get like the biggest thing that people want to be cross-gen is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And maybe that is an exception. But I could see Nintendo has never really been the company to do a bunch of cross-gen outside of launch.
They haven't.
Like they'll have like that one launch game that's cross-gen and that's it. So and the thing is they I mean what's the whole point of what PH Brazil said here? Nintendo realizes there's going to be 150 million Switch owners, and year one, only like 5 to 10 million of those are going to end up being on Switch 2. So a majority of your audience and the majority of your sales software-wise are not going to be on Switch 2. So I could even see them being like, hey, do we need to bring Metroid Prime 4 Beyond to Nintendo Switch 2 year one? Does that need to be cross-gen? Because most people that want to play it won't even have a Switch 2. So I do think that if what he's saying is true, that Nintendo, they want third parties to come in and help fill the slate because Nintendo doesn't have a game every single month for Switch like they've been doing all generation. And they know there's going to be a lot of people there and they want to keep pushing units and making them 30% off their games. I do think that, there's potential there might be no cross-gen games from Nintendo. Like they just might say, screw it. We need a hard cut. Our teams are focused on Switch 2. We're trying to increase the value proposition of Switch 2. We don't increase that by continuing to go cross-gen. And Nintendo is the company that time and time again has said, we believe software sells hardware.
Yeah, it's true.
Kind of hurt hardware sales if you're going to keep releasing stuff on the old platform. So yeah, we already know they have a few games, 3 right now, announced next year for Switch. One's super early. That's Donkey Kong. But then, then we have obviously Legends EA and we have Metroid Prime 4. And they'll probably a few others that aren't announced yet for some remakes or remasters. But I do kind of think that if what he's saying is true, this signifies to me, there will be maybe no cross-gen games at all, which I know to some people sounds wild. But you got to remember as well, like maybe Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, they're like, hey, we don't have to put it on Switch 2 because backwards compatibility, you can play it anyways. So like that could be the whole thing. Like, hey, we're just not going to do cross-gen. We just want games to be there for Switch owners during that year. Besides the handful that we have, because that handful isn't gonna, we're in a transition ourselves. Like we're trying to push Switch 2 as hard as we can, but we do know when we do that, there's like only so many millions of copies we could sell of games in year one because there's only so many people that own a Switch 2 in year one. So and again, this is why Pokemon Company usually waits to come to the new system until it's about 20 million plus. And then they're like, now we'll go on there because we could sell to half of that. And then we'll probably add, 5 million in sales ourselves in there. So, that's my thought. What do you think, Nintendo?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you guys that besides launch, I don't really see the cross-gen being a feature that they, dive too heavily in when they're marketing games. I feel like they're going to want to push people to the new system. There might be like a third-party case, like a multiplayer game, like maybe a Call of Duty has like a cross-platform thing where you can buy like the lesser version or something. But I think a lot of people are going to be just jumping on the Switch 2 bandwagon. I think most of the cross-gen stuff, if any, are going to be Nintendo. Like probably only a few titles. Like probably a Metroid. I can't think of too many more, honestly. Like maybe games that they've already revealed, and then besides that, it's all going to be new. Because you got to get people over there. You can't I know that 3DS continued to release games years after, and they will still continue to release some Switch games.
Yeah, there'll be a few like smaller ones. But that's the thing. If you think about 3DS, like it wasn't massive games.
Yeah. Yeah, you had like WarioWare Gold, like just compilations and like
even like Samus Returns that was in 2017. It's like, wait, it's still just a remaster. It's not, it's not Metroid Prime 4. It's not Metroid Dread.
But it's interesting because those were two different consoles. So like now, if it is backwards compatible, you're kind of still developing for the same console. So you might see more of a overlap than what we're used to. But I think in terms of like what would actually play on the Switch 2, I think it's mostly going to be exclusive. You got to force people to go to the next.
They're going to want everyone to go to the next system.
Yeah.
And the one thing that people maybe don't think about and wanting some more of these Switch 2 games to also be on Switch is that Nintendo is also not like Sony, and they're not like Microsoft, they're not like Ubisoft, they're not like Activision, they're not like all these other companies. They don't view when we release a game, we only have one chance to sell. No. Let's say Mario Kart's the launch game. That's selling for 8 years as a bestseller in the top 10. It's just like Breath of the Wild launch game. Yeah. And it's been a top seller for like 7 years.
Like Odyssey still probably sells.
Yeah, Odyssey still does okay. It kind of tapered off of it, but it sold really well for like 4 straight years. So Nintendo doesn't view when they release games as they're sending them out to die the way that other companies view the first year of a platform where it's like, oh, we get our like 1 million in sales maybe, and that's the best we can do. No, Nintendo's like, no, we're going to keep selling. Every time we sell a Switch, we're selling some of these games. So that's also the thing that's in Nintendo's favor to not do cross-gen is to be like, no, all these games are still system sellers for us 5 years from now. Like all evergreen. Like the only ones that have not proven to be evergreen for them are things like Metroid. They have yet to prove Metroid can be evergreen. Maybe Metroid Prime 4 breaks the mold. Metroid Dread didn't. Metroid Dread is the best-selling Metroid ever, but it's still all those copies sold. Like the first one. So, but most of Nintendo's IPs aren't like that. Like this Mario Party game that came on now, dude, it's going to still sell extra millions next year.
Yep.
And probably the year after. Probably all the way up until the next Mario Party comes out. So.
I do still think Metroid goes cross. I think it has to. From the sales standpoint.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of the 140 plus million, whatever it's going to be by the time it releases. Who knows? You got to take advantage of that, and you got to take advantage of the new console launch hype. You know, it could be a showcase game on Switch 2. I mean, it would be on Switch 1, but obviously you would think that it's going to look a lot better on Switch 2, but they got to capitalize. We've said this so many times. They got to do everything they can do to catapult Metroid up there with Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. Now, it's never going to be as popular as those 3, but if you can be in that conversation somewhere around there, that would be massive for Metroid.
Especially if they
So,
go multiplayer.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that would really help, I think.
And they kind of owe the fans, honestly, because like what did they announce that in 2018? I know they had development issues, but like you gotta release it on Switch. There's no way.
I also think like one thing to talk about just putting it on Switch too, since it'll be the new hot thing, is assuming that this game maintains the quality of the Prime franchise, it's going to be a GOTY contender. 95 plus, that is the standard for Metroid Prime.
It is a standard, yeah. It always has been.
So it maintains that level of quality, even without it's going to be up for GOTY. Will it win? I don't know, because enough reviewers have to actually play the damn thing. But that might be changing after Metroid Dread. That might, that was up for GOTY. This game's gonna be rated even higher. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna be the highest rated game next year, but it's got a chance to be one of the highest. So like that's the thing too. Like, hey, you're gonna want that on your new hot thing because that's just gonna make more reviewers also willing to give it a try too.
If you think about the games that are in talks, right, for Game of the Year this year, off the top of my head, I think of 2, and I think I remember their Metacritic, but Astro 94 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I believe, is a 93. Metroid is usually the Metroid Prime is usually higher than that.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it would have released this year, could have got Game of the Year, no problem, possibly.
Yeah, probably neck and neck with Astrobot and Metaphor. Wait, where did Metaphor end up at? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm curious actually.
Actually, I know it had really good out the gate with its review scores. But, 93.
Yep. So is Astrobot still the highest
for the
rated game this year?
Let's see.
I think
it's a good question. I don't actually know. It might be.
And I usually don't follow this stuff.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I'm like, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Astro has a 90.
Best games this year. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Of brand new games, not DLC, it is the highest.
There you go. And what does Metroid usually get? What is that?
Metroid
Right,
Prime.
95, right?
Yeah, the Prime specifically. Yeah. Man, yeah. So it's going to be a GOTY contender regardless. And the thing is, the only way like and Nintendo does this is like, hey, could Metroid Prime 4 win GOTY next year? Sure. But then there might be a 97 rated 3D Mario game. So like
dude the first
Odyssey never got the credit it should have gotten 2017 because there was also a 97 rated Zelda game. Yeah. So it's like people kind of forget that like Odyssey is a 97, guys. Like it's the same rating as Breath of the Wild.
That game does not get enough love. That is an excellent Mario game.
Amazing. And that's what kind of sucks is that Metroid Prime 4 is going to get overlooked by another Nintendo game next year. I just know it's going to happen. Yeah. But that's okay. Like, it's fine. Like, the idea that Nintendo could have another year with 2 GOTY contenders at launch for launch year is insane. So, like, just keep it going, Nintendo. Like, I don't know. Eric, what do you think about this whole mess with, like, cross-gen stuff? Do you think there's going to be a lot of cross-gen or no?
How I see it possibly working is, your brand new games, your major games, like your Mario Kart, your Zelda, your Mario, those are going to be Switch 2 exclusives. Your major remakes and stuff like that, remasters, like if they do come out with the Legend of Zelda, like Wind Waker, that remake, and then series that need a boost for cross-gen are going to be the cross-gens, where those bigger remakes and stuff like that will help still push Switch 2 sales, but it'll still give something for the actual Switch players to play with the option of a patch to bring it up to Switch 2 once you purchase Switch 2. So, I mean, you get all of your major main games as Switch 2 sellers to drive that, but you still have something that's still available for Switch players that is still not like, oh my god, this is crap. We're just getting the bottom of the barrel. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do wonder if they're going to just try something different as far as how they brand it. So maybe they do something along the lines of cross-gen, but it's not cross-gen. We're never going to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's never going to call it that because obviously they need to migrate everybody over
Yep.
to be in their best interest, of course, and all the third parties. So maybe they come up with obviously some sort of different wording. So cross-gen is on what, PlayStation, Xbox does like optimized or something. Series X optimized, something to that effect. They would need to do something pretty clever, I think, to still give us some of these Nintendo games on Switch 2 that have better performance. Like, for example, the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I always go back to this game because, right, it was in the code that it's 4K. And everybody was wondering, why is this game running at 30 frames? You know? And it's like, well, man, it would totally run at 60 on Switch too. Because I think they could have got it to run at 60. I think it was probably very close. But if they couldn't lock it in at 60 at a consistent, they figured let's just go 30. Because we don't want choppy frame rate. But it's like, I think they were very close. I would have to imagine. This is a GameCube game. Even though it was fully remade, it's not a remaster, all new assets. But I always look to that game because I think that is a good candidate, especially since it's in the code to come to Switch 2 in 4K 60. So it's more or less, what are you going to call it? How are you going to word that?
It's going to be like
everyone knows
program or something.
Something.
Yeah.
If I can step in for just a second with a couple of games that I think I'd like to see remastered. And
No, you're not allowed to talk.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
One of the series that I want to see is possible, like Gears of War. That wouldn't be a come over.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, bring some
great.
And then one I'm surprised was never actually brought up, but is actually very switchy in style.
Halo.
Psychonauts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you know what? Good call out there. Good call out.
There's a newer one, isn't there?
Psychonauts.
Yeah.
3.
That's too. Yep. It's very good.
I like that.
That is a very Nintendo-esque game.
Also, Goaty16 just did a super chat that brings up a good point. Nintendo bought a studio called Shiver that specialized in porting games to Switch.
That's right.
Just saying.
That's a great point.
Nintendo's doing this initiative. Maybe that was why they bought this studio in the first place, because they knew they were going to ask third-party companies to be like, hey, let's offer you a team that can make this a little cheaper on you to get to make this happen. Good call, Goat. Totally would not have brought that up otherwise. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have anything they want to add? Is it time to slap Nintendo Talk in the face?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay, all right, it's time. Hold on. No, my button doesn't work. Damn it, I have a slap button, but that's fine. All right, your turn, Nintendo Talk. What are we talking about?
All right, we're talking about what I think is the hottest thing because it's happening right now. It just started. And that is the Nintendo Switch online playtest. Now, a little bit of backstory. Me and Mr. Stash are in this. So we're going to be talking about the rumors. Let's just say that. Wink. But yeah, apparently this playtest, we didn't know what it was. All we knew last episode was it was a 2.2 gig download. Didn't know anything. It is leaked that it is apparently an MMO. So this is a new this is a new game. It's like a new game. We can't show any images or gameplay, but literally I was on Twitter just looking up Nintendo.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Nintendo did not disable the ability to take screenshots and record footage.
Yeah.
just natively on Switch and share to social. So like Nintendo telling people not to say or share anything, but then not disabling all the features that Switch has to do that. Guys, if you want to see the game, it's everywhere. There's video clips and there's people streaming it right now. I was just watching one like this entire time. I'm like, dude, this is all right, Nintendo. I don't know what you were thinking was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I still can't show it because all we know is at least before it officially launched. I don't know if they're going after anyone yet since it's launched. But before, they were going after anyone who even shared a screenshot.
Yeah, I did see that.
Of text. They would take out your video. So I'm like,
Jesus.
So we can't. But they haven't taken out conversations about it. It's just imagery related. So
we did find out that the people working on it were the same people that made Ring Fit, Labo, and other games for Nintendo. So do we think this will be a test for a game? Like, are we testing the actual game or are we testing something inside the playtest? Are we testing like stress tests on servers? Are we testing like multiplayer? Because I'm just going to say it right now. Look up images or videos. This game looks like trash. This looks like a test. This looks like a beta. Like even before that, I feel like I'm looking at Nintendo like a dev kit or something. Like this looks very early. I personally think this is the bigger deal. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a game. I think this may be like a skin of a game, like a Pikmin MMO or like something bigger. I think personally. So I wanted to get your opinions on it. I know that you guys have seen some of the screenshots.
Yeah. So it looks very, very tech demo-y from what I watched, at least the beginning. But then the more I was watching it play, I'm like, it's pretty fleshed out with some of these features. And I kept wondering, like, maybe we're just thinking this way because Nintendo's never gone with like this simplistic of a style, and Nintendo sees all these indie games that blow up doing this sort of thing, and they're just like, no, this is our MMO style, Minecrafty. Don't give a shit that it looks like trash game because everyone can play it. And while we're stress testing it here, maybe our long-term plan is we're going to bring this to mobile too. We're going to bring this everywhere and get everyone in. If you're an NSO member, but boom, you're in. You can play this someday. Maybe it's just free to play. And then I don't know if the microtransaction it, maybe not, because maybe their whole point is this is a huge selling point for NSO in the future. Is this free game that you get with it that millions of people will play just because they have NSO. And I only say that because it looks very fleshed out. Like it's not visually a stunner. It definitely had hitches and other issues, but I mean, it's a test. This isn't a final release. Obviously, if it was a final release, they would just announce and release the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking going in that this might be like a beta test that is what they initially said, stressing servers. But stressing servers in a way for a kind of game Nintendo's never done, an MMO. And they're actually hiding a much bigger project. And this is just a small thing they made on the side just to see how their servers would handle throwing. Here's the thing. I don't understand the stress test part. Throwing what? 50,000 people at it? What's that gonna?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of stress? Do you only think 50,000? Like, if you have like a Mario MMO in the works, or like a Nintendo Universe MMO, or a Pokemon MMO, you think only 50K are going to be on that server? Like, so I don't even understand the stress test part from that perspective. Yeah. So like when they talk about like we're stressing the servers, I'm kind of like Ron Burgundy from Anchorman. I don't believe you. Like that's not what you're really testing here. You're testing a game that you just needed a larger pool of people to play to get feedback on the actual game. And that's what I'm starting to feel like the more I watch of it. And again, it definitely looks like something that's not done. Definitely looks like something that needs more work and more polish. And this isn't meant to be released. It's a beta or an alpha or whatever it is. But I'm starting to think it might actually be a game they plan to put out there one day. Might be a year or two out, but
it's just bizarre to me because like this is not a known IP. They have so many IPs that they can just like slap on there, and it just seems like a weird
new IP Nintendo. They do it every gen.
It's weird, man. Like, just when you think you know what Nintendo's gonna do, they freaking release an alarm clock or like this Roblox game.
Yeah,
you know?
where you have an electric tail that you use to whip shit.
Yeah. It just seemed like the timing is weird. The type of game is weird. This doesn't scream like system seller to me. So like what? That's why I always revert to like maybe a stress test or something technical that they're testing for like a bigger thing. But it's just so out of left field.
But sometimes those out of left field things do really well for Nintendo. Now sometimes they don't. Labo,
Labo, yeah, awful.
They do well for them. But like, Splatoon was pretty out of left field for them. Hey, we're gonna enter into the arena FPS space, but you paint.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew up, and now it's one of their biggest IPs. So that's like one of those things. Like I think they're not looking at this as, well, yeah, we could have slapped Mario on this. We could have. What if we were going to do a new IP and build another pillar IP for the future? What don't we have? What genre are we not? Well, we're not in MMOs. Well, we don't want to make it MMORPG. People would be like, why did you just make this a Zelda MMO? Okay, fine. Well, let's make it this new funky thing we don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's build a world. You're gathering resources. You're fighting people. There's apparently mechs people are going to be able to unlock at one point, at least according to the data mine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like this is a very not Nintendo game. Yeah, and that might be why it works. Like here's the. I haven't played it yet, and you guys obviously haven't played it yet either. You guys will get a lot more time in it over the next week, and at this point, this is day one. With all this shit out there, we're just going to talk about it on the show next week and get some real impressions from people who played it because it's out there. Not going to make you guys show images and get you guys in trouble, but it clearly there's no point in just pretending it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I
think you're right though. I think they're going after a market that is more mainstream, not necessarily what I would like, but like, I look at a game like Roblox and I'm like, how is this successful? But there's an audience for it. So
massive audience. Wow, it's like one of the biggest games in the world.
Yeah. So I think, but we'll have more impressions on it. And I know that there's like Nintendo doesn't want us to talk about it, but we won't talk about our experience. We'll just talk about what we see.
Yeah, what we see. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we technically haven't played it yet because this just went live right as the podcast went live.
Yeah.
So I legit we haven't been able to play it. And of course, we don't want to play it on the podcast, but yeah. So we are just talking.
Nintendo, just let us talk about it. Leave it. Well, not talk about. Let us show it.
Yeah.
Why are we hiding it, man?
Yeah, you brought up an interesting point, Nintendo Talk, though, about maybe it's something that's skinned.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a different game. But we literally...
another stream of it. Just
literally put a skin over it.
I'm just watching yet another stream of it.
It'd be interesting.
It's not hard to find these things.
There's a lot of people streaming it.
Yeah, well, some people are getting smart now. I guess Nintendo has been nuking some of them, so now they're just doing all these unlisted streams and just linking them all over the place.
Does it look any more interesting?
Well, this is a higher quality stream than what I was watching. But it's kind of interesting, like because if you remember, we learned this last week. We had this thing where you had the beacons, right? And the higher the beacon goes, the larger area you control because your beacon zone is a safe zone. No one can steal your shit in there. Right. So basically, if you have anything you find out in the world or anything you want to build that you don't want destroyed, you do it in your zone. But they talked about how, like, as a community, you're trying to complete the block or the area and then you move on. Like you're trying to, rebuild out the planet, basically. But it never explained, like, what does that mean? Is that everybody's got to get their beacon like 10 miles in the air? Is that where it is, where there's no black zone left?
Right.
Because like that's what this guy that I'm watching doing right now, he's trying to get all the way up and raise his beacon even higher and even higher and even higher. He's just gathering materials to keep skyrocketing that beacon as far up as it can go. It's pretty sick, actually. Now that I'm watching this particular stream, this is the coolest the game has looked. Like this looks like a guy who actually read everything the game throws at you and knows what the hell he's doing. Because this is actually now starting to look like this this is like what Minecraft was back in the day. Came out, looked like shit, but it was just fun.
Mhm.
Well, we know Nintendo's well known for that.
Mhm.
They care about if the game's fun.
And the thing is, like, I don't know. That's the thing. Just watching this guy go, and it's cool as you can see other people's beacons around you, so you can kind of see what they're doing too. So then it kind of, like you see that they're all trying to race and get theirs really high. So now it feels like a competition. Who's going to get highest? Who's going to have the bigger area? Oh shit, you're like 3 blocks from my area. No, I'm going to get that black zone, not you.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of interesting. But here's the thing: like, is it a novelty game where it wears off? After a few play sessions, or is it going to be something like throughout this playtest? So they're going to keep on, like, example. I haven't seen any of the streams with the mechs, but we do see the mechs in the data mine. Is that something that Nintendo just kind of lets you have later? Keep adding content. Games like this, you got to keep adding content.
Right. So do we think this is going to be a NSO only game?
I think so.
Mhm.
Like, is it going to be an actual game that gets released versus, hey,
I'm
this
gonna
is a
say
stress
that.
test for something else?
I'm going to say this. I think it's going to require NSO regardless because it's an online game.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be one of these. Gosh, I think it's going to be like a cheap game. I think they're going to be like a $20 game, eShop only, requires NSO, and it's just they're kind of. I'm just watching. What the hell is this guy doing right now?
Growing a tree.
Dude, he just grew a tree like a mile
Growing
in
a
the
tree,
air. What is he
yeah.
doing? Dude, this guy knows what the hell he's doing. He's figured some shit out.
I think it's going to be free.
Well, the only reason I go with the charge method is because you try to make it like a little bit like Minecraft. You charge a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. But then again, I also got to remember, like, this is going to be Switch and Switch 2 exclusive if this ever comes out. So the real money for them is in the subscriptions.
Mhm.
It's in the.
I mean, this could be their like Wii Sports for the Wii. You just get it on launch, and it's like something that only Switch 2 has. Everyone wants it.
Oh yeah, what if it's like, but the playtest was on Switch, and
Yeah.
like Nintendo goes, and you need a Switch 2 to play this fucker.
So was the ZA build, but we're not supposed to know that.
Oh, ZA. Oh, yeah, ZA is fully playable on PC right now. That's just
We'll definitely get our opinions. We'll get our
next week when people actually go hands on. Yeah, like I'm oh geez, I just want to screen share just for a second. I'm like, no.
Yeah, right.
No.
for a second.
Just for half a second. Nintendo might leave it alone. We're a really long show.
Yeah.
Half a second.
Someone will probably report it.
Yeah, right.
Half a second.
Yeah.
I'll do
There
half.
you go.
Oh,
I got you guys half a second.
Half a second.
Nice.
Oh, dude, I love how when he named it. He named it a Minecraft Let's Play.
That would do it. That would
He's
do it.
Totally trying to throw Nintendo
That
off.
would do it.
All right, we're gonna share it.
Yeah,
It's gonna share.
as we get-
Yeah, there it is. There it is. And we're done. We're done. Stop sharing.
Mm,
But
there
yeah,
you go.
the game's looking pretty fun. Again, it's not, guys. If you want to see this, it's not that hard. It's all. People are spamming links all over social media. Screenshots are flying. Here's what maybe we can talk about this part. Why the hell is Nintendo even trying to hide this? Are they that naive that they didn't think 50,000 plus people this was getting out?
Right.
I have a hard time believing, like, if I knew before the 20th even came that everything was going to leak, that Nintendo couldn't have known. Like, they're not that stupid, right? They're not that naive thinking if they just ask 50,000 people nicely, they're just not going to. Every closed beta that invites the public in leaks every time.
Mm. But why are they making a big deal out of it? Why make an exclusive playtest? Why
Well, some people are saying that, like, maybe this is a clever marketing technique by Nintendo because, like, yeah, they're going to keep going after it, keep taking down images and keep doing this, not because they actually want to hurt anyone, but because them doing it is getting people to keep talking about this game that maybe they might not have talked about otherwise.
Mm.
I don't really buy into that. I think there is a little bit of I think Nintendo overall probably knew it was going to come out. But then I also feel like a lot of these takedowns are not being done by Nintendo. They're being done by Nintendo's legal department. And so sometimes the communication isn't always perfect between legal and the company. Here's my thing. I don't think Nintendo should have ever asked people not to share this to begin with. All you're going to do, like, I guess if you don't think people would have shared it, here's my thing. Some people said, like, well, if they just told us what it is, then people wouldn't care anymore and wouldn't pay attention. I'm like, no, because what happens is if some really, really big live streamers got in, like Ninja or something like that, and they played it, and they're like, dude, this game fucking looks like shit, but God, it rocks. Like, this shit's on Minecraft or something like that. That's going to build massive hype for whenever the game will come. So, like, I should have done that. To just letting people show people why the game is fun. But then that gets back to your point, though, Nintendo Talk. You said, hey, this might just be like a demo for it's not meant to ever be a game. Like, it's not ever, it clearly is a game, but this isn't ever meant to, they're never releasing it publicly. It's just them testing for something much bigger. And that, but even that, I still don't know why you would just be private about it. Because who cares? After 12 days, it'll never be around again. You know, people will just forget about it over time. It'll be just another one of those projects we saw that never came out.
It's like Satellaview games.
Yeah.
You think anyone's going to be able to preserve this? If it disappears forever, that'd be interesting, right? If one of the 10,000 that got in knows how to preserve. Because, I mean, I have a boxed version of Zelda on the Super for Satellaview that is the whole game. So, I mean, obviously they can be preserved. I don't know how they do it.
Especially with an online game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially one that was from like 94, 95
Yeah.
in Japan only. Yeah. So pretty crazy, but yeah, it's a full game and it works great.
By the way, guys, I'm also trying to extend this topic. Just got confirmation, everyone in the chat, that Gigglypuff's on her way. She's actually going to come. So I want her here for like the final big topic. So I'm like, okay, I got to find something else to talk about until we get there. We're like, you guys, both of you have like indicated, it's time to move on. We'll talk more about this next week when we actually play it. I'm like, I know, but we don't have another topic to talk about.
Oh, we can talk about this all day.
Are you guys playing anything else on your Switch? Are we playing any games right now?
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, I'm still playing Echoes.
Okay.
Like the only thing besides that and Fortnite with my fiance. That's it.
Have we played Mario Party yet?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I played Jamboree.
It's fantastic.
I haven't I gotta unlock the extra stuff.
My thing is, I think it's the best Mario Party game on Switch, but it's a tough sell if you own one already, just for like the casual person.
Okay.
I would buy anything Mario Party, but to recommend this to someone who maybe has one or two of them already on the Switch.
We say that we get to July and we find out it sold 10 fucking million.
I know.
And we're like, oh well, shit shows what I know. Nintendo, there's a reason Nintendo puts 3 of these per system.
It's really good though.
Yeah, I think it's gonna sell great.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. One thing I do like about this, and it's something that like I'm trying not to get addicted to, because playing a full Mario, it's like a 2-hour commitment to play like a full round of it's not a full round, but a full game. Is they got online leaderboards, and I want to be at the top. But the problem is it's such a huge time commitment per session to play online and try to win and get to the top. But I'm also like, that it's also really fun. Like it's really fun. So it's kind of like, damn, if I was younger and just had unlimited gaming time like I did when I used to pump, 40, 50 hours a week into World of Warcraft every week and still played other games. Yeah, man, dude, I'd be trying to pump. Like I could see my kids haven't realized yet that there's online leaderboards. I think as soon as they do, they're not going to want to stop playing. I'm a little afraid to let them know that, hey, if you go over here and look at this, there's a leaderboard. Because then they're never going to not want to play.
I got a question.
What's that?
Will this be the only wave of playtesting they do? Or will they contact us again? Or will they put out another public call out? Like,
If they're mad that this leaked out, they'll never do it again.
I mean, they had to have known. They're not.
I just can't believe that they'd be that naive.
I think it was a formality, like, please.
They've done, but this isn't the only public playtest they've done. The Splatoon, infamously, lots of public playtests of Splatoon in the past.
But nothing unreleased like this. Like, we don't even know the name of it.
Yeah, we don't know the name. There's still no name of it, even when you load it. Maybe they will do more of this stuff.
I would like an invite back.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't say anything, you should be able to go.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Just do a quick search. Who said something? Who didn't?
The Nintendo ninjas know how to find that stuff out very quickly.
Oh yeah. There's
they
someone
can
else on
see
the
that we
window.
were good. We were well behaved.
Mm-hmm.
We could have showed it. You didn't have us sign anything.
Well,
But
Nate
we
did
were
show-
respectful.
I didn't get in. I showed 2 seconds of it. I'm never getting in.
You're right.
Yeah. Man, I don't. The whole thing is still really, really fascinating because this is at the end of the Switch generation. So to me, I just keep feeling sounds like such a thing that they're testing out for Switch 2 because they're going to do more of these online things. Maybe they'll have multiple MMOs going. I know the dream for a lot of people is a full Nintendo universe MMORPG. Think of all the worlds you could have and all the abilities and all the crazy stuff you could do. And like you could have dungeons just like MMORPGs do, but the dungeons are based on the game worlds and the IPs and how cool that would be. And think about all the bosses Nintendo has that they could throw in the thing. They could have world bosses that are also from like, oh man, dude, it would be so sick. And you might
cosmetics
art
alone.
styles. So they make it work in Smash. They make it work in Smash. They can make it work in this. Man. But it feels like such like a hey, if something could topple World of Warcraft as the top MMO, Nintendo's got the IP rec.
Free with every Nintendo Switch Online, maybe expansion.
Especially if it's free with just an NSO subscription, how cheap that is.
I think it's going to be free.
Because like World of Warcraft, you pay $15 a month.
What if Nintendo's running cover for the Pokemon Company to do a stress test for this Pokemon MMO? They're literally running cover for them with this game that doesn't even have a name.
Yeah, what if Gen 10 Pokemon has a massive open world online MMO going on? Like it's the end all Pokemon game.
It's just weird.
Too many copies for it to be an end all Pokemon game. But maybe maybe that's the thing. That's why they got the Legends series going.
Well, like think of the game. You're placing beacons, creating safe zones, building stuff.
Oh man, it's like an MMO Tears of the Kingdom.
A Pikmin one would go crazy.
We're good to go.
I think of Pikmin
yeah.
with beacons and stuff. And
Yeah, Pikmin's a good one. Yeah, because there's beacons and stuff in there.
I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, to me, it's wild.
This is their dungeon builder.
This is man. I'm trying to think of a bonus topic. I came up with all the topics today without asking for help.
I got a bonus topic.
Proud of myself. What's that?
The Sakurai stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that happened today. That was this morning, dude. All the videos recorded 2.5 years ago. Pulling the Nikado avocado, baby. Except there was technically a surprise reveal. Hey, I'm working on a new game. Well, no shit.
Yeah. That freaking guy.
I've been working on it for 2 years. It was kind of the big surprise. It's like, no, I didn't just start working on it. Like, no, it began in April of 22. He gave like specific timing. Like, hey, I had a gap between when I finished the DLC of Smash to when I was going to begin work on this thing in April of 22. That gap is when I did all the YouTube videos.
Yeah, it has to be Smash. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And someone today tried to tell me, like, oh, Sakurai said, like, back when the game came out, that there'd never be another Smash game. I'm like, no, I went back and read the interviews. He said, like, no, it'd be hard to follow this game up, but there'll probably be another Smash. He wasn't sure if he would be at the head of it still. And then, like, as you watch him over the years with his interviews, and even in his own YouTube video that he put out like a year ago, it's like, nah, Smash can't happen without me. And Smash is too important to Nintendo. Yeah, like, there's going to be more. He was basically I almost look at that video he put on his channel a year ago as if he was kind of telling us he's already fucking working on it. And now that I know those videos were pre-recorded and he already had a project coming up in April of 22, I'm like, oh, he knew. He knew Nintendo's like, now we got out Smash Bros. In like the second year of Switch. We're doing it again. We want it out 2026.
Like, you really think Nintendo would let him make a random freaking... No, he's going to be Smash Bros.
And he said back in that Smash video a year ago, because that came up when I was like, oh, he's obviously working on Smash. Let me go watch that video he made when I remember him talking about Smash. And he he said in that video, very pointed. It's like, if you look, you know how like YouTube has like that bar at the where everyone's clicking to see like the highest click spot. Highest click spot was him saying, I would love to keep working with anything Nintendo wants me to do. And I'm just like, it's Smash.
Yeah,
dude, Smash Bros is about to cross 30 million in sales. Smash Ultimate is. You're clearly working on Smash Bros for Switch 2 because it's going to be one of the biggest games on the platform.
Yeah, the character reveals,
there's so much hype.
Character passes, like they're not gonna.
Yeah. Now he said, there were some things he said over time, like the next Smash game cannot have this size roster again. He thinks Ultimate was kind of like the peak of what Smash was. So there still needs to be Smash Bros. Like, it still needs to be what Smash is, but it needs to have a smaller roster and slightly new direction. What that is, don't know. But that's what he's been working on for 2.5 years and has another couple of years to finish up before it releases holiday 2026. I'm like, I just can't. The fact that he says he wants to work with Nintendo, he was asked, by the way, as he said, he was asked to give a proposal. Oh, come on. It was Nintendo got on the phone and said, hey, so we got to start thinking about the next Smash game. Give us a proposal for it. Yeah. Cool. Great. You're working. Begins in April.
And he's given proposals for other Smash games, is what I read.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And so basically, I think what it was they kind of left him alone while he was wrapping up the DLC, because it sounded like he was contacted immediately after they released the final character.
Yeah.
It really sounded like it was pretty fluid. Like, and Sakurai explains it in his video how game development usually goes, where it's like, hey, you wrap up one project and you're already working on the next. Sometimes you have like a month in there where you get a break, but otherwise it's just kind of one to the next. It doesn't stop. And he said, this is the first time in my career that, like, hey, I gave a proposal and it was approved, but we're not starting this for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, I could have went on vacation, but I wanted to give a gift to the world. That's what he calls this YouTube channel, a gift to the world. Am I all right? I mean, I'm not a game developer, but if I was a game developer, there's a lot of good shit about game development on that channel for free. So, yeah, I think it actually is a pretty, like, if I was going to become a game developer, I'd probably watch the entire series. But yeah, it's got I don't know what if it's not Smash. Like, I'm thinking, like, what would it be if it's not Smash? Because he's been vocal that he wants to like remake Kid Icarus Uprising. But he said that during one of the videos he pre-recorded, which means that's not what he's working on. He wouldn't just put that in there if that's what he was working on. Yeah. So I'm like, and that wouldn't take 4 years. It'd already be out by now if that was it. And it's funny too when he said that thing. He's like, because this is his first video that was actually made recently, and he's like, yeah, you might even see this game soon. And I'm like, oh fuck, are they teasing it in the Switch 2 reveal? Motherfuckers. Maybe he doesn't know, because maybe he knows like it's a 2026 game, but maybe he just doesn't know when Nintendo plans to tease it, which would be wild because he makes all the teasers, right? He's like his teases remind me of God, who's that other
Kojima,
yeah. where Kojima does some crazy teases. You don't know what the hell he's talking about till like right at the end. And that's what, like, if you ever watch all the character reveals, it's like you don't really know what the fuck's going on for like the first 30 seconds of this reveal. What are we doing? And then you see like a little glint in the eye of a Smash logo. Okay, Smash character reveal, and then it's double fake, and you still not even know who the fuck it is until like right at the end. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Very Kojima like.
Let me ask you guys this. This is kind of a behind the scenes question into the development of Smash. But when do you think Nintendo starts securing contracts for IP to show up to star in Smash Brothers? Like, when do you think third-party developers know that they have an IP that is releasing, around the time frame of the new Smash Brothers, and that if they can get their IP into Smash Brothers, it could catapult the sales of their game, right? Because I have to imagine that this is all contractual,
Sure.
and that a third-party character showing up in succession for Smash Brothers, like, look at the third parties we have now. If they show up in the next Smash, that's a new contract. It's not a lifetime contract to be showcased in our video game, right? You got to get all the materials over, right? You got to work with the third parties on probably how they want their IP to be presented in some sense. Obviously, I'm sure Sakurai has the blessing to be creative as he wants to be, but there's probably some preferences, at least in there, for some of the bigger third-party characters. So I'm just wondering, like, when do you think this starts? Because is it possible that it could have started as soon as the last characters came out?
Yeah, maybe.
Do the third parties forecast that far in advance? Does Nintendo tell them, hey,
well,
we think we're going to have Smash coming out in this year?
I think some of it comes down to like whatever Sakurai's proposal was, and then when it got approved, and then at that point, there's this initial roster, because I'm sure they'll do DLC again.
Yeah.
This initial roster, which again, he has said, at least in the past, that it would not be as big as Ultimate's roster. So I feel like, well, then, okay, how do you still make it feel magical? One, maybe you accept that, hey, you know what? We're going to go for all new third-party characters, all brand new, because that would really change the game up. You'd eliminate a lot of favorites, absolutely, but then you would also be like, yeah, but we're not messing around. We're still getting big names. We got Master Chief up in here. Dude, we talked to Sony. They're helping us with the Zelda movie. We got Spider-Man in here, which that would also have to be worked out with Marvel. Good luck with that. Maybe that's going a little too far to think Spider-Man can get in. But hey, Alloy, is that crazy now? We got Lego Horizons on Switch. Is it crazy? Yeah. They could add Alloy to the game?
Exactly. I don't see why not.
Well, like, they would still get like really big name third-party game like characters in, but they might just not be the same one. I think that would be one thing that could really change up there'd be a huge roster shakeup that would, I think it's one of those, like, going into this game, I'm already expecting there to be some pretty big changes. And that would be one of the ones I'm like, I think a roster shakeup would actually be refreshing for the series. Even a shakeup for like Nintendo, like, yeah, you're gonna have your base, you're gonna have Mario, you're gonna have Luigi, you're gonna have Link, but like, maybe you even do a shakeup with what you're bringing in, like with Metroid, right? They added Ridley. Well, let's say Ridley's not there this time, but they bring in Silex, who's in Metroid Prime 4. So like they start to modernize it a bit and bring in some of the really, really fresh new things from the most recent games. Like, yeah, let's say Ganondorf's in there, but it's now Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf.
Yeah,
with his final form being the dragon or whatever for his finisher and stuff. Like,
I think that's the route. Like, instead of just Mario, it's Odyssey Mario, and he has a whole new moveset. And I think that could be like
or even it's so modern that it's the new 3D Mario, because they gave him a sneak peek so he could like incorporate that moveset in.
Mm-hmm. Luigi has like Luigi's Mansion moves, like, or more of them.
Oh, like, dude, why doesn't Luigi have Luigi's Mansion moves, man?
That's a good question.
Come on, dude.
Right. Yoshi could be Crafted World Yoshi, like Kirby, like, so
just really modernize the regulars, and then just bring in all new that we just haven't had before. That would just be sick. Look, bring in something stupid. Like if this, let's say this playtest never comes out, bring in the character from it anyways. Just to
That would be funny.
That would be
Or
fun.
a
You
stage.
brought Robin for crying out loud. That wasn't even a video game. Like, can we just bring if this at least was a thing that some people played?
We need Alarmo in Smash.
Like instead of
I
instead
could see that.
of Minecraft Steve, we got Alarmo.
I could see that. Couldn't you guys?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Assist trophy.
Assist trophy, yeah.
Trophy or maybe an item in the game
Yeah.
where like you toss it out because remember Alarmo doesn't just wake you up; it puts you to sleep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you toss it out and it puts them to
Whoever
sleep.
hits it puts to sleep.
It,
Yeah.
it keeps them asleep for like 30 seconds or something until the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
And, open your eyes.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
They should totally do that. Oh, that's a great idea.
Like we think about Smash. A lot of the originality could just come from modernize it all. Like
Yeah.
all the items we've had. Like we've had so many of those items for so long that you use in the game. Replace just literally go in like with the proposal being like, hey, we're not reusing a single item.
Mm-hmm.
If there's modern versions of the most popular characters, we base it on that instead of basing it back on Wind Waker or basing it back on Ocarina of Time or something. Like let's not forget our history, but we haven't modernized all this stuff in so long. That really would feel super like some of the most modern things in the game are sometimes just the fields you're battling on come from like the recent games.
Mhm.
But I'm like, yeah, but I'm playing Super Smash Bros. With a Mario that feels like it's still kind of based on Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Odyssey, I'm taking people over with hats.
Yeah.
Hell, man, let's go. Like, even if it is just an Odyssey Mario, because, it doesn't go with the most recent one, that at least is a huge update to Mario and his gameplay mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, hey, he doesn't have the fireball ability anymore. No, unless he steals it like Kirby does.
Mm.
Right? Like,
throw a hat at your face,
Yeah. No, dude.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be sick? Like if you could throw a hat and take over a character for like 2 seconds and just try to jump him off.
Oh my god, that'd be so broken.
But no, because it actually in a 1v1 it would be broken.
Yeah.
In a 4-player or an 8-player, no, because Mario would still be there.
Mm-hmm.
So you could like go trash his character who's got no control of.
Like Kirby, you have so many. Like you can turn them into the car. Like you have so
Yeah.
many. Like
Dude, update Kirby, like give him new abilities, like let me turn into the soda machine and start shooting cans at people.
yeah,
Well, that'd be sick.
Be cool.
That would be really cool. Or the car. Let me like up B, be like the car dash, and I turn into the car.
mm-hmm. And I think that's how you get away with maybe eliminating freaking 30, 40 characters, but reinventing all the.
Yeah, you
ones you
reinvent every single one so they actually
with
feel fresh.
Start back with the original roster. Maybe add a couple more,
Mm.
like a couple more new characters, like not even ones that were in Ultimate.
Yeah, what if they go back to like how about let's say they have 30 to 40 max characters, but you start with just the OG roster back in the day, all completely modernized, and you have to unlock the other like 25, 30 characters.
That'd be amazing.
They haven't done that in so long. Yeah, they've had unlockable characters, but it's been like a handful.
Yeah.
No, make me have to earn that whole roster again. Give me a single player mode that lets me unlock a lot of this stuff again. Bring back. I know, Sakurai, you hate cutscenes because people leak them. Who cares? Fans love them. Sometimes you got to realize fans love that shit. That's one of people's favorite modes is when it was in Brawl or whatever, when they had a single player mode with all the. Do it again.
What about Subspace?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do it
I think that needs to be brought back big time.
Yeah, or as a new thing, like I liked what they did with some of the single player in this last game. I'm like, yeah, but also I'm going to tell you, like, it was messing with my kids. It felt my kids told me like, Dad, it's kind of weird. I don't really even know what's going on. I'm like, yeah, I know. You just run around and fight. You don't know what the hell's going on. Nothing really feels connected. You're just going, and then now you're fighting Master Hand eventually after you spent enough hours, I guess.
I feel like some of these third-party characters are going to have to be in the next Smash, though. Like, if you think about it, we are all hoping, I think equally under the impression that the new Switch 2 is going to have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Trilogy. So how do you have Cloud and Sephiroth and Smash Bros on Switch, but then you get the new Final Fantasies and then the remake, and you don't have them on Smash Brothers on Switch too.
Because they had Tifa.
It's true. They could add Tifa, Barrett,
Yeah.
Aerith.
There's
You
other
know, like
characters they could add.
I thought about that too, but I also just wonder what these contracts are like. I really do.
I don't actually think that they have a hard time getting contracts.
No, I don't think they do.
As long as they don't have to deal with a lot of companies. Like I think Spider-Man might be a little. By the way, I think Marvel would probably be cool with Spider-Man being in the game, but it's still one of those that but there's going to have to be some sort of revenue split between all the companies, and that complicates things. But I don't think that like Sony after that they failed to make a party fighting game that they're going to be opposed to having their characters appear in Nintendo. Microsoft clearly isn't going to give a shit. And look how many studios they own.
Yep.
I mean, God, Phil Spencer's basically begging them to put Master Chief in. I'm like, are you sure that's even you own Activision now? You might want to like pick a different character to represent your company at this point. Halo's not what it once was.
No.
You have a new Fable coming up. Maybe you want the lead character in that to be in your, or like, hey, you have a new God, what is it? A new Elder Scrolls coming. Grab a character from there.
Yeah, because we've seen one character that comes to mind is Joker. I feel like Joker definitely made Persona fans for sure.
Dude, look how big Fallout is. Put the ghoul in. That'd be sick.
That would be cool.
Especially since he's such a popular character in the show. That would be sick. So
I wonder how many people bought Persona because of Joker being in Smash.
Well, I think the sales I heard were decent on Switch.
I heard they were too, and I think characters that made their way into Smash Brothers that have never heard of Persona, like when Joker was unveiled, was at one of the Nintendo Directs, right?
Yep.
How many people were like, "Who is this?" And you got to think like the different age brackets that are playing this game that don't know Persona. They're like, "Who is this guy?" And then they start looking it up on Google. Before you know it, they're like, "Oh, it's this game Persona." Then they start seeing the reviews. They start seeing all the people saying all these good things about Persona. They're like, "Can I get this on Switch?"
Yeah.
Like these people that don't know anything about these games, man. Like the amount of revenue I think having your character in Smash brings in is
like
I'd love to see what an internal report looks like, an internal breakdown of projected increase in sales. I gotta imagine it's high, very high.
Yeah, I don't think they have any problems. They probably have companies contacting them for sure.
I think so too. That's what I'm wondering though, guys. And that's what I was getting at is that do you think companies are paying Nintendo to where like they're like, dude, we can't say no to this. Like they're offering us a lot of money. Like Sakurai, can you do some more, man? Like they keep wanting to pay us, and here's your split too. That's what I'm wondering because
it's hard. It's
the
hard.
Payoff's big, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to know with those contracts.
It really is.
I would assume it's a percentage off, like when they do like the character passes or something.
Yeah, when it's DLC, it's probably a percentage.
But
what about
base game? It's tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The base game, I don't know. Like you could do percentage of the sale of the game, but then Nintendo would be cutting that so many ways.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of the characters, maybe there's like a friendly contract where it's like, hey, we just don't make anything off it, like Sonic being included. Sega might just go, we're not looking for a cut. We just want our character to be a mainstay in your roster.
Yeah,
because we think it's just advertising for us. So there could be some contracts like that, especially with like partner companies with Nintendo. You think about like Dragon Quest. Like now that we have Dragon Quest guy in there, what if one of the agreements was, hey, make this a mainstay for the future because Dragon Quest is huge and sells best on your platform.
Yeah,
like some of the contracts could literally just be like, hey, we just want the free marketing, and promotion. You just let us know like what we maybe want to like approve the moveset.
Yeah.
I'll make sure it's faithful to the series, but like besides that, it's probably Sakurai is like a freaking gaming historian. So like, I actually fully believe when he showed off his game collection in the one video, I'm like, I bet you that motherfucker's beat every single one of those games. Like, my God, he is a gamer through and through. And the respect he has for these IPs is insane. I even question if there's like a non-indie game I could bring up to him that he just wouldn't instantly like just know everything about it, like he's an encyclopedia. Like, dude, not only do I know everything that happened in the game and all the names of the characters and the story and exact quotes, I could tell you the director, I could tell you the I could tell you who was like musician number 5.
Yeah.
Like,
if you played 100 matches with him, how many, if any, could you win? No items.
I think a professional could probably take him down. Like the top of the top. But I think he would wreck a majority.
I might get a lucky hit or something.
He was testing the game. Remember at one point he was testing the game, playing 2-player where he was playing both characters with one hand claw on each controller. I'm like, what the? Who can claw equal? Like the claw way of playing is a known method, but who can do it equally ambidextrous with both hands at the same time? Nice.
Especially a game like Smash, your characters are everywhere.
Especially apparently Sakurai.
Yeah.
I think it would only get him is that, like, you know, he's been doing it so long, you know, he's got that hands hurt after a little bit. But man, dude, I actually think that would be a great way to promote the game. Bring out the top like 10 Smash players at like at some tournament event and just have them go 1v1 versus Sakurai.
I would watch the hell out of that.
Dude, it would be huge. That would be a very popular live stream. That would just be sick.
You know which character should be in Smash? I'm surprised he hasn't been in it yet. And I don't even know like who's got the license these days. I feel like it's changed hands a few times. Crash. I mean, come on, dude.
Oh, yeah.
How?
Seems obvious.
So it was like Toys for Bob, right? It was like Activision, Toys for Bob. Who's got it right now, though?
Activision, well, now Microsoft, I think, still owns it.
Says it's still published by or the Insane Trilogy was Activision Toys for Bob. Then we got Crash 4. And that Insane Trilogy sold over 20 million.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, it was pretty insane, actually.
Yeah, so Activision, the company, owns right now all the publishing rights to it. So they basically own the IP. So that means Microsoft owns the IP now. Now I know there's like Toys for Bob has been like, you know, allowed to be independent, and supposedly they're working on a new one or a new Spyro or something. But I think that they're just licensing that out to make it. So like a cut of that is going to end up going back to.
I mean, that'd be another interesting one, Spyro.
Yeah, we've never had Spyro in, have we?
Not that I know.
I mean, that one would make sense.
Is Shadow in there? I can see Shadow being in there.
I think you got to also like. Yeah, you got to go for some of the popular, like really popular games with the kids today. Like, yeah, okay, Nintendo can't make Nintendo has been unwilling to work with like Fortnite to get their stuff in the game because Fortnite has got to be on everything, not just your system. Okay, we'll put the default guy in with the default dance.
Oh, he is.
Put it in the Smash. Fortnite's willing to do that. They don't care. It's advertising for their game. You know, go as much as we might not like Roblox. Hey, go put a Roblox guy in with all the custom skins and stuff you can do on it.
But I do feel like there's a line where like Fortnite doesn't care. They'll have freaking Shrek in there. They're having a Toy Story thing. I think.
Well, they got a clear partnership with Disney.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of Disney stuff in the game.
Like as much as I would love to see Goku in Smash, I don't think.
You know what I want to see? I would love to. It'll never happen. Scrooge. Give me Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales.
Ooh,
yeah, it's just not popular enough. But that would be one of those things that it could happen if Sakurai wants it. Like it has to be because Sakurai, the reason that Smash has always like grabbed like more classic characters is because of Sakurai's love for all the games that he's played. But it's kind of like, okay, if the pitch is modernizing, then you still gotta have a few deep cuts. And you go get Scrooge, who has a Huey, Dewey, Louie like
As-
Final Smash.
No, as long as it comes
So
with,
sick.
as long as it comes with a moon theme
Yeah,
stage.
no, and the moon.
Yeah.
There's a remix of the moon theme because you're actually going to have a moon battle stage.
Moon stage, exactly. Yeah.
Dude, that would be sick.
Dude, the moon theme is so good. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite songs.
That would literally probably never play on any other stage if that existed with the moon
Right.
theme. But yeah, like even say like, hey, my kids still know all about Among Us. They still play it. Get them in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's this thing? What are you talking about? It's a game where you're killing people. Give them the knife attack. Let them do a little hide. Give them the hide ability. You know, if there's multiple of them in the game, it'd be hilarious. If there's multiple of them in the game, let them do a vote that does something to another character if everyone votes the same way. Like a group attack.
Is there a wave race assist trophy?
Oh,
I can't remember.
I don't even know what all the assist
I
trophies
feel
are.
like there was a trophy of it, like a physical trophy, but
I'd like to see some sort of nod to wave race because like Smash Brothers is the catch-all for the kind of abandoned franchises, right?
yep.
So that'd be a nice way to get that.
There was a wave race assist trophy.
Maybe like a Pilot Wings assist trophy too would be nice. You can. I think try to capture everybody. I think it would be fun. I think when Smash gets announced, maybe we do a topic about kind of all the dream characters you could get that are not even that don't even have to deal with video games.
The moment they reveal the game, I feel like how we have like a Switch 2 topic every week. We're gonna have like dream Smash characters with every guest that comes on every week. No, look, it's just a regular. You haven't been on since Smash was revealed. What characters you want in this game?
That'd be fun.
It's such a large talking point. Because we never really did that with the pod back in the day, with the old Nintendo Prime podcast. We didn't really do a lot of speculation on characters. I feel like it was a missed opportunity. Oh man, sorry. Now I'm just like Smash, man.
I know.
You guys watch the full 40-minute? Did you guys watch the full 40-minute video today?
Mm-mm.
No, I've been going all day.
Yeah, it was good.
I only saw a hint of something happened.
Well, yeah, cool. Well, a lot of the stuff everyone talked about happened at like the beginning. Like, hey, Matt, appreciate that you brought a lot of big shit at the beginning, and now a lot of people aren't going to care about the rest of the video. But it was very good. Obviously, his entire video series has been really cool. By the way, I hope that pitch he made involved, hey, Nintendo, I want to do this. And by the way, I want to do it with the scroll wheel L and R button. He says he's pitched it like a billion times. Well, I bet you it was in this pitch. Did it get approved? Yeah, I guess we'll find out when Switch 2 is revealed if it got approved. Oh man. All right. I guess we could just probably get into the final topic. If Giggly shows up, she shows up. If not. I have no idea how long her commute home is. It's been like 40 minutes. So, Switch 2. Obviously, it's like the topic that keeps coming, and it's probably going to keep coming forever. Look, there's like seemingly new rumors every week. Obviously, the veracity of the rumors can be kind of hit and miss. But there's some cool stuff out there. One, like the Terra leak gave us a little something new. A little something new that adds to an old theory, the color button theory. You guys know that color button theory?
I've always been on that boat.
Yeah, so like, just to give the background for the audience, like, hey, it began with third-party games suddenly in 2023. Handful of them started like featuring colored buttons in the interface that were like the SNES color buttons, or I guess more correctly would be the Super Famicom colored buttons. But we've had those buttons come back like one other time. Was the new 3DS. They brought it back with that. So it was kind of a cool nod. But Nintendo hasn't really used the colored buttons that often. But all of a sudden in the UI, by the way, it's not like they changed the colors on Switch. In the UI of these Switch third-party games, they started having color buttons on Nintendo versions specifically. Because if you played them on PlayStation or Xbox, they didn't have the color buttons. For some reason, it was specifically intentionally done by a handful of third-party games And so that started people speculating, oh, maybe some of these third-party games are also in development for Switch 2, and they're just universalizing how they're making the game. And so there's going to be color buttons on Switch 2, so they already just have the color buttons in the UI right now. And that's kind of where it just sat. And then Nintendo started releasing Mario games that had the color buttons, such as Super Mario RPG, Thousand Year Door. And you're like, oh, well, okay, it's Mario. Like Super Mario RPG, you can maybe go, yeah, it was the gen before, but maybe it's just like a throwback. Well, Thousand Year Door was GameCube, and not really a throwback with color buttons there. So, okay. And now the Terra leak, a multiplayer Pokemon game. Rodeo, which supposedly, according to the documents, has been canceled, but might have been rebooted as a new multiplayer Pokemon game that we don't know the status of, called Synapse, has colored buttons. Now, the interesting is the B and the X, the colors are switched. Now, this could just be beta and just an honest mistake in a drawing or whatever. Or it could just be that Nintendo decided to differentiate the colors on Switch 2 if this goes along with the same theory, and they wanted A and B to be the primary colors, because out of the four colors we have, right? It's green, yellow, blue, red. Blue and red are considered primary colors. A and B are the buttons you use the most. So let's make those the primary colors. So they just decided to switch it up because, again, they haven't fully colored buttons. Like they had like on new 3DS, I think it was colored letters on the buttons. So they haven't done the fully colored stuff that the Super Family got. So basically the theory is that this is just more evidence from the Terra leak about an unannounced game that's not Mario now, also using colored buttons in the interface, which people are saying that lends to the credence that, hey, Switch 2 could have colored buttons, and that's one of the ways that it could be differentiated just at a quick glance from the Switch OLED from the front, is being like, oh, color buttons. That's Switch 2. So there's that theory. Eric, where do you sit on this theory? Do you think it's just crackpot? Like, because it is just a theory. We have no real evidence anywhere that this is actually part of Switch 2.
Yeah. I don't know. It's nice. I could see him
Hopium.
Yeah, it's probably that. But I mean, to me, it doesn't really make a big difference.
You don't want color buttons?
Buttons are colored or not. Honestly, I don't.
Some people don't, because they think
care.
it makes it look like a toy.
I don't care. I just want the game system that works.
The game system that works? Are you saying the Switch doesn't work?
No, I'm just saying I just want something that works. I don't necessarily care what it looks like.
All right, I'll make sure you get the Red Ring of Death version.
Yes.
Switch.
Yeah. I mean, skins are always a fun thing, but I don't know. I can always go and buy a new case for my Joy-Cons or something like that if I wanted to put something colored buttons on it. It's third-party manufacturers will take care of that in 2 seconds. I mean, so whether Nintendo does it on its own or not, there'll be colored buttons.
Okay. Let's see here. Nintendo talk. Please tell me you're on this theory. I'm going to sound crazy for even bringing it up. I know I'll just restart it, but he's not on the show anymore.
Nate, you're insane. No, I'm kidding. Super Nintendo Switch? Is that confirmation? I mean,
there we go.
I will say the timing of it is weird. Like, why are they adding it to games on the Switch?
Beginning in 2023 too. So late.
Yeah. So it's like maybe they were supposed to come out with a Switch Pro or something, and then those games were like, that's how they told them apart. But yeah, I don't get it. It's definitely odd, but why would there be overlap with that?
Unless those games are cross-gen, or supposed to be. That's the thing. It's like we don't know because Switch 2 is not announced, but it's kind of like that's the point of the theory, is like these games could have been cross-gen. It's like, oh, so why is Mario RPGs cross-gen? Really? All right.
The thing that leaked with the Switch, and then that YouTuber or whatever built like the 3D model of it, were there any colors? Because all I saw was like a white system.
Yeah, they don't have any buttons on it or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm kind of on the train, but I just think why
It's
would
just
it start so early?
the weird thing is just that it only recently, over the last year and a half, has started to appear in games for seemingly no reason. Because the Switch doesn't have color buttons.
Yeah.
So like, why do we have it in the UI, and why do the third-party games have it on Switch, but then not on the other versions of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's specifically Nintendo, but why? The Nintendo controllers don't have it.
Could be future proofing for cross play or whatever. Like,
Yeah, like that's basically what the theory all rests on. It's kind of like, hey, we haven't seen Switch 2 yet, so could there be color buttons? I mean, yeah, I think there's some merit to it just because factually, Nintendo and third parties for some reason are putting color buttons in some of their games, and we don't have a logical explanation for it. It's not like these games are compatible with the Super Famicom controllers for NSO from Japan. No, they're pro controllers and using modernized controls. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Just like it's also interesting that they did that 19.0.0 update that killed the GameCube controllers for a little while. There's workarounds, but Stash, what are you thinking? I know you've been on the theory. You like?
Oh yeah, I'm 100%. I don't see why we wouldn't have colored buttons. It's not like they appeared years ago. They appeared in 2023. I am 100% on board that in believing that we were going to get the Switch 2. That was the original plan. A lot earlier than what it's going to be whenever we're going to get it. But I think Switch 2 was internally delayed, which lends more credence to those colored buttons showing up when they did. I think if you look at games like Paper Mario as well with the colored buttons and the fact that in the code there's 4K settings.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, riddle me that. Anyone answer that for me? Why? Why is that in the code? Why are there colored buttons? I mean, I just feel like it all points to, it's going to be colored buttons. It was on a third-party title. Which game was that, by the way? Was it a game by NIS?
Yeah, one of them was, yeah.
Or was it a Ease game?
No, there's both.
Both.
There's both. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them last year.
Yeah, there's quite a few games. There's no reason for that unless that is the game plan. And again, it sounds like that was the game plan until it was internally delayed. Like I truly believe that. And again, I've said this a million times. I don't know if it's ever going to come out, the true story.
Sure.
You know, it might years down the line, but look at where we are now. We're still asking around. So was the Switch Pro ever a thing? You know, we're still asking around today. Is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, was that ever a thing?
And which one of you third-party companies didn't send the Switch Pro dev kit back and it's going to appear on eBay in like 5 years?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That'd be sick. Because that would be like the 1,000% public confirmation. It's like, oh yeah, Nintendo sent out a Switch Pro dev kit, which I'm pretty sure Switch Pro was probably a thing and COVID messed it up.
I think so too. I also want to say that, you know, you mentioned the differentiating, right? But I think even if you look back to the NES, okay, a lot of the initial comparisons when we kind of first discussed the Switch and the Switch 2 was it's going to be like NES to the SNES. And of course, when we got the SNES is when we got the colored buttons.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same thing. Like this was a graphical jump, right? That's what this was all about. So I could totally see colored buttons. I like the colored buttons. I have an 8-bit Super Nintendo, wireless controller, and I chose to go with the Super Famicom colors for my analog Super NT. I love it. Love it. I got an 8-bit Super Nintendo Switch controller. You guys, the original one, not the one with like the longer like prong handles, but the one that literally is like a Super Nintendo controller.
Yep.
With the back buttons as well. It was like the first one the first 8-bit Switch Super Nintendo style controller. It came out probably like 2017, maybe 18.
I think I have the same one.
Yeah, and it's the Super Famicom colors. I love it. Great controller. And again, it differentiates it for all the people so they don't confuse Switch 1 with Switch 2. Because again,
Be good for branding.
yeah, we can't have Wii to Wii U again. So
Yeah.
do everything you can to differentiate and make sure people don't get confused. We'll never get confused. Nobody in the chat will. But there's a lot of consumers out there that will get confused. So yeah, I say do that. I think colored buttons are great. I'm a big fan. Eric, you did mention that you can get other controllers.
Mhm.
Very true. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but I remember, and I never did. And let me just say, I should have, but I didn't want to give up my Joy-Cons. But there's people I remember on eBay and Etsy especially, that you could send in your Joy-Cons if you want, and they would reshell them for you in the Fantastic series.
Yep.
The clear Fantastic 64 colors. It was so tempting, man. I'm like, oh god, like I personally love the clear stuff. You know, the 90s, 80s, 90s kids, this is what we love, right? We love clear see-through electronics. We love the clear see-through Game Boy and the see-through Apple computers back in the day. If it's translucent, it's badass, right? Like I love that stuff. And analog got me. They got me, and I knew they would. I knew if they were going to release like a clear see-through analog pocket, that you'd get me, and they did. They got me twice because they came out with an orange one, which is like Phoenix Sun's perfect orange. I had to get it. But the other one they came out with, which was very hard to get, and I didn't believe I was going to get it until it actually shipped, even though I got a verified email and everything. But that's the completely clear one. Because I always wanted the completely clear Game Boy. And, at that age, you want, but you don't get. That ain't how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you can want it all you want. No one's going to buy that for you.
That's why I got the lime green one.
Yeah. It's so cool, man. I love that stuff. So, yeah. But Eric, like you mentioned, you just want the thing to work and to be great and play new games. And I'm with you on that. But if it has colored buttons, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But again, if it doesn't, and you really want them, you can make it happen.
For sure. I mean, Steve, all you have to do is go out and find some refurbed Joy-Cons and then send those in.
Yeah.
I mean, spend $5 or something, or whatever, $10 on, used, hopefully working, and then you just send those out, and that way, if they don't come back, who cares?
Yeah. That's true.
I'm hoping they do better special editions. I feel like the Switch special editions were pretty mild compared to like the Fantastic or the Pikachu N64, like the Switch special editions were pretty mild. Like the Animal Crossing one, a white dock with like a little friggin' design on it. It wasn't anything crazy.
It just felt like they plastered like a new paint job on it. It was like it didn't really like feel like something, like a whole lot of effort went into them.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't make special edition systems, I think, like they used to. Just general, not just Nintendo, but everywhere. And I will say Xbox, they've came out with some very crazy ones, but those are for giveaways. Like sweepstakes. Some of the sweepstakes Xboxes they've came out with, I'm like, whoa. And my cousin, he hit me up last week telling me about his PS5 controller, and he's like, hey dude, like I got something, like he set it up like something bad happened to him, like he has like some sort of sickness. And I'm like, well, what's going on, dude? He's He's like, I think I got stick drift. And I'm like, you're an idiot. And he's like, what do I do? I know you're the one who will know what to do. It's like, yeah, I'm not the only one, obviously, but you know how it is. When you've gamed your whole life, everyone asks you the gaming questions.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, is it pretty much, done for? I'm like, yeah, it's, you just get a new controller at this point. But he was asking me which controller to get. And I was like, well, obviously they just came out the PlayStation 30th anniversary controller.
that one's nice.
I said, yeah, but you can't get it anymore. He's like, well, do you have it? I'm like, well, I have it pre-ordered. Yes. I said, and I got the DualSense Edge pre-ordered of the 30th edition, which, you had to be in line, obviously, right when the pros went up. And I don't even know what I'll do with that personally, but I was telling him about these controllers. And I was like, so if you really want the nicest controller, I don't know if you're going to utilize everything, but it's no different than the cell phones we buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they always say, we only use like 10% of the capabilities all of our cell phones have.
Yeah.
But then I was showing him the Xbox controllers, like the custom Xbox controllers. Have you guys seen what you can do on their website?
They're so good. Yeah, you can literally like change it. I think there is something like that for Nintendo with the Joy-Con, right? But it's only Japan or something.
I mean, if it is, that's cool. I don't know about it if there is, but man, I wish they did it. I wish they did it here the way Xbox does, because look, I honestly, I don't like the Xbox controller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And one thing that really pisses me off, man, is how they swap the buttons for basically back or proceed. Because I'll be using a Pro controller or a PlayStation, and then I got to use an Xbox controller, and everything's flipped on me between hitting back or hitting proceed. And it's just like, come on, dude. Can't we just get universal on those two things? Do whatever you want with the other two buttons, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The other two face buttons, do what you want. But let's be universal. Let's be at one and have those buttons, the confirm proceed or the back button, all be in the same spot.
Yeah.
If they were, hey man, you know what? I would maybe consider getting one of those custom Xbox controllers, because they're the only ones who offer the coolest custom controllers. I would actually do that if they went universal, but they don't. And so I'm not going to get one. I would much rather get a custom Switch controller or Joy-Con or a really cool custom DualSense controller.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I think Nate needs to bring up that 4-year-old drawing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into.
Yes.
So maybe the biggest thing over the last week, depending on how much credibility you want to give, it came from this guy named Nintenbyte over on Family Boards. Nintenbyte is no one really knows who he is. Nintenbyte, Nintendo Insider. You can kind of see where the username comes from, because they don't post a lot on Family Boards. But they were posting back in April, and this was before any other information came out. And he basically said that the Joy-Cons, the new Joy-Cons on Switch 2, would connect through magnets. And that was the first time that had ever been said. We can't find, there's been a lot of internet sleuthing. There's been no earlier statement on magnetic connecting stuff before him. Shortly after that, MobaPad and all the third-party accessory makers kind of started talking about this thing, but it was before any of that stuff got out. And then he kind of just vanished. He just left. Wasn't seen from again. Then the magnetic stuff kind of got essentially confirmed through the shipping data. The shipping data showed that, yes, magnets are being used to connect the controllers. Okay, cool. Then he returned to drop one post out of nowhere. That one post was a crude drawing of a dock and the back of Switch 2, supposedly. Switch 2, obviously, he didn't really say much with it. He joked about the fact that it looked like a kid's drawing. He had like 4 words that he said, and one of it was a joke that a kid drew it. I'll show it here in a second. I thought I have it here. All right, let's go ahead and share this here. So, can I not share it that way? That's right. We go to here we go. There it is. So it's this. All right, it's hilarious. It's not a good drawing, and I kept thinking maybe a kid really did draw it. Well, my kids tried to draw, and they drew these better than these were. So I'm like, okay, so my kids can draw better than this. So I'm like, all right, maybe this is actually just adults that don't draw. So I went over to my whiteboard, and I tried to draw it, and I actually drew it worse. Then I tried to do it in MS Paint on a live stream, and it was even worse than MS Paint. So I kept thinking, an adult that never draws, that's me. Yeah, all right, that's about what a crude sketch, if I'm doing something super quick, is going to look like. Now, if I take my time, could I make something look better? Of course. Or if I make it a crude sketch, sure. But the thing is, he chose to put this out there. Obviously, he could have made it not so crude and took more time to make it look nicer. But because he was seemingly the originating source for the magnetic connections, and those are right, people are thinking that this might actually be a look at the dock and the back of the Switch 2. Now, a couple of things are interesting with it, outside of the being a little fat in the back here. I don't actually think, like, this makes it look mega fat. I don't actually think the dimensions are that much different than our normal dock. I think it's just more tapered off towards the top of the back side of the dock. Like, it's like thick all the way to the top, but if you take your back off, there's nothing going on up there. So I think it might only be a little bit thicker at the bottom, and then it just tapers off towards the top. But my thing with this is, like, a lot of people focus on the dock because it just looks different, and that could be the whole point. The dock just looks different to look different. Maybe there's a fan in there. People speculated on that because we saw that there's at least 2 fans, something to do with Switch 2 and 2 fans. Both fans, by the way, could just be in the Switch 2. But we don't know, right? It's this U design on the kickstand that has people talking. If you were to believe that Nintenbyte was the originating source on the magnets and thus knew something that no one else knew, could have been a lucky guess. That's always possible. But it didn't come across that way. It's some pretty specific things that were confirmed in the shipping data. Well, this U-shaped thing is not the first time we've heard about a U-shaped kickstand. We actually heard about it from leaks that came out of China.
The Switch U.
From a forum poster who's had all of his stuff deleted on the forum. And so this is now the second person to bring up this whole U-shaped kickstand. And the interesting part about it is that what they said is basically that they had seen, like they on manufacturing line had seen essentially a shell of a unit, and on the back was the U-shaped kickstand, which some people can kind of take or leave. Some people don't like it. Some people wish it was more like the old kickstand. I don't really care as long as it's sturdy. That's all I give a shit about. If it's sturdy and it gets the job done, I don't care if it's U-shaped. I don't care if it's half the back plate of the Switch. Who cares? But it's that it still also has these giant Switch logo here. Well, the originating person on the Chinese forum that brought up the U-shaped kickstand said that, yeah, the back of the Switch still has the giant Switch logo with a 2 next to it. So if Nintenbyte is a real insider and he's bringing this up and this U-shaped thing links back to the Chinese thing, but it's independent, does that mean the name of the system actually is Switch 2? Now, we already have other stuff out there that have pointed to it. We just had it last week, when we talked about Dr. Sirkin Toto and doing his quote around Switch 2. Is he trying to say that's like literally the name? So there's been some thought processes out there that Nintendo Switch 2 might actually be the name of the system. So that's kind of like where this all kind of goes in. Obviously, before we even go beyond all those connections and speculations, do you guys think that Nintenbyte is legit and this is anything? Or am I just crazy and it's bullshit?
I think it's worth noting.
You can say it's bullshit. Don't just be nice to me.
Might be a little bullshit, but there was some drawings of the Switch in the early days too that were
Yes.
like
Yes, and they
shitty
were
like
very
this.
crude and very like
Yeah.
funky. And it turned out that like the one in the middle was very close to the final design of Switch. The one at the top, we have had confirmation that that's actually what the dev kit looked like.
Yeah.
And the one at the bottom was kind of like what might have been a former dock design that didn't come out. So it's kind of like, oh, people thought that was all fake and bullshit at the time too, because it looked like a fucking little kid drew it.
Yeah.
But
I think regardless if they need to or not, the next system needs to look weird. Like it needs to look different. It can't look like a Switch. I mean, it can look like a Switch, but like something needs to be different. The dock needs to be the colored buttons. Like I think they're going to do a lot of that stuff to make you think like, okay, this is new, even though the dock could probably look exactly the same. The Switch could look exactly the same. Like, did they need that kickstand? Probably not. But if it stands out a little bit more,
yeah, just to be different.
yeah.
It's kind
I'm
of
excited about the dock.
there were color buttons. Do they need it? No, but does it make it look a slightly different?
Yeah.
Makes it stand out.
I mean, that dock's thick, man. Like I think something's going on in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Baby's got back. What do you think, Steve?
I don't think it's bullshit. I don't mind that it's a crude sketch.
It's gonna be hilarious.
And I cannot draw that.
It's like 1-to-1 when it comes out. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I
I'll
tell you,
I'm gonna leak in Switch 3 and have my kids come up with some drawings.
you know what I do wonder is I do wonder if the dock's gonna be open, one end of it.
Yeah, a lot of people thought like the easiest way to make the dock stand out more is like there's no real point to the front plate of the dock.
Yeah.
At all. It's just a
That's-
piece of plastic.
Exactly. And months ago when Paul Gale was on, he brought that up. The idea of having the Switch dock be open so your screen actually shows.
Oh.
And you could have I had mentioned like, hey, it would be a great idea if Nintendo started putting out themes again, like they did on 3DS, and you can have that out on display. Now it's a talking point. Literally, when people come over and they see it, it's a talking point now.
You know who would hate an open face dock? Sakurai. He had custom designed expensive shelving units for his consoles, and the Switch is on its side. He puts the dock in like this. You get rid of the face, he can't put it in like this. And it's got that rounded back and no face front. He can't put it in like that anymore for Switch 2. Oh, that's why he's gonna keep it. Better have cross compatibility. You better keep a Switch dock.
Someone in my chat actually published. He brought up a good point, and he said that's where they put the special edition graphics. If they don't have them there, where are they going to put them? Outside of the Joy-Cons.
That is actually a good point, because
that's
literally
a really good point.
When you look at the front of my dock, this is the Zelda one. That's where it is. Like, yeah, there's some stuff on the back, but it's very minimal, and you're not going to see it.
Yep.
Yeah. That could be a whole reason just to keep it there, just to make special editions. So I don't know. Like, man, this thing is, Eric, as the outsider who's not knee deep in the rumor mill. What are you thinking? It's okay if you think it's bullshit. I promise I didn't draw it. I'm not Nintenbyte.
I mean, I get it. I wouldn't be able to draw anything better than this. Jesus, that'd be pushing my art limits. I think there's parts that are probably right and parts that are probably bullshit. I mean, I know it's fence sitting, but
you must take a stance. You must call me an asshole or call me.
Well, I mean,
I'm
great to call you an asshole, but
well, there we go. But now they I thought it was a secret. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can see all this coming true for sure, and there's also I can see this being complete bullshit. I mean, it's a decent enough sketch in concept that it is very, very plausible, but it is also
bullshit.
It could be very well bullshit. you know. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. It's kind of like, yeah, I can see it both ways here.
All
It's
right.
gonna be like worth keeping that image.
Yeah,
and
it's like a note. It's like you can, and I've been trying to do this with a lot of the rumors over the last year. Like just kind of like little tabs in a notebook and just say, hey, when it's revealed, that's like how much are these checked out?
yeah.
Mhm.
Why do I feel like Nate has like a cork board with like a bunch of like strings attached to freaking?
Actually, I should.
You
I should actually go over here, take down the soundboard, make a giant cork board, and have it just be Switch 2 conspiracy theory with strings
Right,
everywhere.
right.
I think people would find that hilarious.
Yeah, what?
I would love that.
The
That
post
would be helpful too.
people be like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "If you look, it actually makes sense."
Yeah, a rumor roadmap.
A rumor roadmap to Switch 2. That's a great idea. Oh my gosh. That is an awesome idea. I can do a whole live stream about the, hey guys, let's make our rumor roadmap wall.
Yes.
Mhm.
What are you going to replace it with when it's revealed? I don't know. Maybe it just stays up as a memory.
You just got to make sure you put the aliens guy in the aliens guy meme.
Oh yeah, the alien. So a couple other things that sort of went on. Did I even write it down? I don't even think I wrote it down. The 4chan leak seems to be bullshit because it was supposed to be revealed on Wednesday this week. No surprise, it's a 4chan leak.
Oh yeah.
Last week, like a 4chan leak, no shock. Is anyone surprised? Oh no, a 4chan leak's bullshit. Who knew?
Mm.
Does legit stuff leak at 4chan? Sure.
Mhm.
Is it mostly bullshit? Absolutely, like 95% of the time. But again, it was mostly a for fun conversation. But you know, because the park stuff was going on, it was kind of like, yeah, maybe. I'm trying to remember what else. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up with the Switch 2, and now I just don't. I don't remember, and that's making me mad as someone who covers everything all the time. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Oh, I kind of vaguely remember now. I just glanced at my channel. There is a very, very strong indicator that a certain Zelda remaster is coming to Switch 2.
Mhm.
And it's something we've talked about before, but it seems like more likely than ever. And of course, it's Breath of the Wild 4K, which is not what people want.
Mm-mm.
But it seems even more likely now that it is probably happening. And look, we've had a lot of rumors and stuff like this from some pretty reliable people in the past already that there was a demo of it at one point. But basically, Ounce now being confirmed as the code name in the Terra leak. Like absolutely beyond a doubt. Like we already knew Ounce was referenced in the Switch firmware. However, we weren't technically sure that Ounce was a next gen thing. We just assumed because it lined up with a rumor about Ounce.
Mhm.
Well, now we know Gen 10 is being made for Ounce, which is not the code name of Switch. Okay. Well, that's Switch 2 then, right? That's the code name for Switch 2. Now, maybe it's a code name for a Nintendo phone coming out, but
Yeah, right.
okay, code name for Switch 2, Ounce, Gen 10. All right. The thing is, that goes back to all this crap that Midori said about all these stupid code names. One of them being Yu King O. Yu King, as we know, is the code name for Breath of the Wild. What's O mean? Ounce.
Mm.
So now that we know Ounce, so that's why it's like, oh no, like this is a real thing coming to Switch 2. Like this could be a year one game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, here's the thing. I'm the sucker that if they charge $70, I'll probably buy the fucking thing. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Mm.
It's not a game I think Ocarina of Time remake needs to happen before this, but you know, it is technically the most popular Zelda game ever made. Would Nintendo, 8 years later, bring it back out on Switch 2 in 4K? Yeah, absolutely. It's the most popular Zelda game ever made. Like, absolutely. They probably think it's an easy 10 million seller, no problem. And it might be. It might be an easy 10 million seller, no problem, long haul.
Yeah.
But backwards compatibility, yeah, but it's ain't 4K. So like that is it's seeming just more and more likely that this is actually a thing that Nintendo is doing. Again, it could just still just been a demo, and that's all it really ever is, and that's all it ever really will be. But it just kind of feels like, yeah, Nintendo's pulling a little Sony. A remaster that we don't necessarily need. It's a nice to have, but
Yeah, I feel like it's not.
like
You're almost burning people out.
if you package it with Tears of the Kingdom, fine. That's fine then. But I don't,
Yeah.
And that could maybe they're bundled for 60, 70, and they're both in 4K. Like, all right, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing is like people feel burned out on Breath of the Wild because of Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
If Tears of the Kingdom never came out, people might be all for this. But it did. And so we haven't had a Zelda game, a 3D Zelda game outside of this Hyrule since Skyward Sword in 2012. So like, not even 2012, sorry, 2010. My God.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since we had a 3D Zelda game not in this world. So to have like, oh, this is a rematch. It's like, yeah, I'm okay with 4K Breath of the Wild coming out during the Switch. Like, absolutely, it's the most popular Zelda game ever. Get 10-year anniversary, drop it. Let's go. But like, I feel like the next 3D like remaster should be like of a different Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think if you do a 4K Breath of the Wild, make sure all the DLC is on the cartridge, maybe add some new stuff, maybe new cosmetics or something. But like I love Breath of the Wild, but when I play that game, I don't think like I want this game to look prettier. I'm just like, this game's great. So I could see how it would sell. It's like the Skyrim effect. Like how many times can you buy Skyrim? But like, I don't know if I'd be there day one. As weird as that is, because Breath of the Wild is one of probably my favorite with Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, just 4K. I don't know if that really does anything for me, honestly.
I mean, I'm hoping there's more to it than 4K.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they put some ray tracing in, higher frame rates. I mean, that would be cool. Obviously, the dream would be new content. If they did put new content that explained some of the plot holes in Tears of the Kingdom, like extra content that would be like, hey, we never got explained to us where the Divine Beast went.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to have like an extra quest line that kind of wraps up the Divine Beast stuff.
More of a director's cut.
Yeah, like it's like, why is it not around? So if they do something like that, then that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Anytime you bring a game back, but you add new content and it's like a significant like story explainer, I'm actually cool with that.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty big assumption that they would do that, because that would mean the main Zelda team did it. And as much as I can believe the main Zelda team worked on it as like, hey, we're preparing for Switch 2. Let's fuck around with something we've already made. Sure, absolutely, I can believe they would do that. In fact, I mean that's what they did with that's why Wind Waker HD exists. They wanted to fuck around with making a Zelda game in HD. Let's take a game we've already done. Let's put it in HD. Let's see what we can do. Hey, let's just make this a full release. So like, yeah, that could have been what happened here. And then they decided, hey, let's throw on an extra storyline to connect it to Tears of the Kingdom a little bit better. Not that it doesn't connect, guys. It does. It's just the Divine Beast was such a massive role in the first game to have them just never explained what happened to him anywhere. No side quests, no nothing. They're just gone. Like there's a lot of plot holes in Tears of the Kingdom, but like that's like the biggest one, because the true ending of Breath of the Wild says, oh, there's something going on with Divine Beast Varuto. We got to go check it out. Cool. And what did we check out? Did it vanish? Like what happened?
Yeah.
That's on a little cliffhanger, and then we go to Tears of the Kingdom, and it's like they never existed.
Like Age of Calamity has so much story, but that's like a prequel, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to have a little bit after the ending.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, anyways, that's my hope. If they did that, then I think people wouldn't be mad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of us know how to get, like, we can all at this point kind of speed to the end of the game if we really wanted to and stuff like that, and get to the extra content. And especially, I mean, that's not even considering that. What if Nintendo enables you to bring cross saves from the original Breath of the Wild over? Like, that would be really cool too.
I think it's coming. I think that if you look at Gamescom and you go back to that rumor,
Yeah.
this is something that they've had planned probably for a long time.
They use it as a showcase game.
Yeah, and they're like, you know what? We got such good feedback. Maybe we actually put this out on retail and do some other things to it. And I think about it like this, guys. Like I got it on launch day. It was a long time ago. I beat it within like the first month. I haven't touched it since.
Oh wow.
So it's going to be 8 years. By the time Switch 2 comes out, 8 years. Like I would definitely like to replay it. And I will say this. I grabbed this from my shelf, but you guys see that? This version? So this includes all the DLC.
Yep.
This is the complete version of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
It never came out in
Oh,
the US, the
yeah.
complete version.
Yeah, we don't have one like that.
Right. So you know it's going to, for starters, be
Have
the
all-
complete version.
They'll have all the DLC. Yeah,
Yep. 4K.
that is true. Maybe that's why they never did it, because
I think that's why.
Mm.
4K, 60 FPS. I mean, right there, for a game that I haven't played in that long, because it's Zelda, like I'm already in right there, because I haven't played it in a really long time. I will eventually play it again. And if you give me a reason to go play it again, because it's 4K 60 now, and if you do other stuff and you make it like a director's cut, where you added some content now, I mean, think about like Link's Awakening DX. Remember that?
Color Dungeon, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Do something like that, but maybe on a little bit of a grander scale. Give us more content, give us more lore. Yeah, fill in some of the story. I mean, any Zelda fan is gonna want that, right? Be all over that.
Yeah, I honestly think that, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, look, it might not be what people want. Like, they would ideally want it to be like a remake of Ocarina of Time or something, and that maybe that's still coming. But it would also be one of those. Nintendo's a business.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think,
safe.
I think sometimes we forget at times that like Nintendo's in this business to make money. And as much as we can hope that Ocarina of Time would be like a 10+ million seller if it got remade, we don't know that. But I'm pretty sure Nintendo would be pretty confident lifetime of Switch 2 they could sell 10 million of this. Because it's the most popular ever. Ever. So like I could see like Nintendo maybe being like, yeah, we're gonna throw that one out. I would hope. My hope is if they would throw this one out, that one they don't announce it with the Switch 2, right? Let everything kind of, because I don't think it'd be a good announcement with the launch of Switch 2. This would be something that should be announced after the launch of Switch 2, like a June Direct or something next year. But then when they do announce it, I hope one way they can really avoid backlash, or anyone being like, "Oh, really? That's what you're giving us?" You know, in October or whatever. All they gotta do is pair this with a small tease of the brand new 3D Zelda game that's not coming out for 2-3 years. If they pair it with just a tease, people are gonna be, who gives a fuck? Like, what we really care about is brand new games. And if you had to do this to figure out Switch 2 stuff to give us what the fuck that was, well then shit. We're good now. This is a Wind Waker situation. We're good.
I mean, could it also be like something that they show off when they show off the console though? Like, hey, look how good. Like, you thought Breath of the Wild looked good. Now look at it.
Yeah,
Like,
if there are significant visual improvements, because I think trying to sell it on the basis of 4K is going to be tough in a commercial.
yeah,
But if
performance
if there's like performance, be showing side by side. Hey, remember this crazy shit in Korok Forest? Here's it now. Oh shit. Okay, that's nice. But then if it's like a significant visual upgrade, and I don't know if it would be, but what if it was? You'd be like, hey, this was Switch 1. Remember launch of Switch 1? Look at this shit now. And it's like, oh my God, it looks like a new game.
Yep.
Like, this isn't the PS5 Pro presentation where people were like squinting to try to figure out what looked different. Like this is very, even at YouTube compression, this looks like, what is going on? A generational leap.
You know, it could really help to like illustrate why you should make that jump to Switch 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like, look how amazing this game looks. This game that you guys played and put, you know, some people hundreds of hours into.
Yeah.
You know it very well, but look at it now.
And if we remember,
it might be that good.
Yeah, and the Gamescom demo, apparently the whole point of it wasn't even about the 4K or the higher frame rates. It's to show instant loading.
Yeah.
That's so easy to show. Hey, boot up game on Switch. You're just instantly in when you boot it up on Switch 2. Oh, here's your Switch 1 with the load screen. You're waiting. Oh, like, hey, we're transitioning into a building and we're doing this instant. It's just instant this, instant that, instant this. There's no wait at all. No loading at all. Hey, you want to teleport instant. You're just there. You see the animation and you're in. Or they even change the animation because it's so damn quick.
Mm-hmm.
They make the animation where it goes on you and it looks up and you can even see like the sky opened and where you're going and you're just there. And that's kind of ripping off Rift Apart over there a little bit with their transitions to new areas in Rift Apart. But yeah, it's kind of like if there's enough significant changes, I can see Nintendo just being like, hey, we just want to like, how can we best explain this to you? Well, let's bring back a game that we had at launch that best shows off how, like, what it makes this system stand out. And like loading is one thing they absolutely could do. Like they could talk about, oh yeah, there's instant loading now, but you got to compare it. You got to have something to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
So having a game of that come back would be interesting. So like I can see like a marketing reason to do it, especially if it does feel and look significantly better. Or, and this is always that possibility that Yu King O is actually what is it? Just an update, and people will be cool with that. But the reason people don't think it is, and this is one thing to bring up, is this is the huge example we can go back to because hey, we had a Wii U game come super early to Switch in Mario Kart, and it had the codename Turbo. Well, the Switch version is Turbo-S Switch. So it's like, oh, well, okay, if they put the dash, that probably means it's a whole game coming over, not just like a, they would probably just use the same code name as a Switch, basically, if it was just an update. Because it would just be an update. It wouldn't even have a unique code name. It would be the same thing. So that's kind of where people are like, oh, if it has this unique code name with the dash, then it probably is a whole new version of the game that they're going to sell. So I don't know. That's just kind of what came up over this last week. I think it's pretty interesting. Obviously, again, there is a world that exists, guys, where this game exists and so does an Ocarina of Time remake. Like both could be true. Because Ocarina of Time remake might not even be done by the Zelda team. That could be an outsourced thing. So if it was outsourced and then they just use this to not just show the differences between Switch and Switch 2, but also we're like, hey, we're going to try some new dev stuff with this to help us experiment. I can see where a world with this is. Here's my thing is, what if it comes out next year? I mean, it's technically, if it's not at launch, it's technically over 8 years since it originally came out. It's a long time. I think it's just because Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's really what makes people, God, the same Hyrule again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's the same game. Like we're not pretending this is a different game. Yeah, but man, okay, something that looks different. But again, that's why I said if they also pair this with a tease of the next 3D Zelda game, then I think they can get away with anything. Because the moment you tease that, they're gonna be like, oh, whatever you needed to do to get to that, we're good.
Yep, kind of what they do with Metroid.
Yeah, same with Metroid. Yeah, so what you don't want is a. Speaking of Metroid, was when one of the last quotes they said is, "Hey, if this game doesn't sell well, we might have to shelve it for a while." And then Other M didn't sell well, and then people are like, "Oh fuck." And then the next time is Federation Force, and they didn't tease the next Metroid game with Federation Force. So Federation Force forever got shit on. And then Samus Returns, and they're like, okay, Samus Returns is cute. Oh, Metroid Prime 4. Okay. Why didn't you tease Metroid Prime 4 at the time? Oh, because it was going to be a Switch game. So that's the thing. Like, if they're a little self-conscious that, hey, this would be like 3 out of the last 4 3D Zeldas we've dumped out because the Skyward Sword HD is mixed in there, is this same Hyrule, it would be very self-aware of Nintendo to throw the tease of the new 3D Zelda game in. And I know people think it's crazy. Dude, Zelda, for some reason, is the one franchise Nintendo will just tease years ahead of time. I don't know why, but they just do. They just want you to know it's coming. The final game, by the way, might not look anything like it. Hello, Twilight Princess reveal, where we have this epic battle going on and this huge forest scene, and none of that's in the game.
Even Breath of the Wild was very different.
Yeah, very though. The whole world was like different from what they showed, but it was still fucking cool. Tears of the Kingdom, that entire scene with the giant mammoth, none of that's in the game. I mean, you be like, oh no, they're down in the catacombs. You're right, they're in the catacombs. The scene where he cracks his neck and looks at you, yeah, sure. But go look at the original reveal trailer. I'm telling you, like most of that's not in the game. So it's like this is what they do. That initial tease is massive beta, might not be in the final game, but man, does it get us fucking hyped. I mean, and the one thing a tease would give away is art direction. And Zelda fans will cling to that shit for years and years and years to talk about art direction. So speculate on all the rumors. So anyways, if they do that, then they can get away with this. It's kind of like I think Federation Force would have been better received if they would have announced Metroid Prime 4 alongside it. Then it'd be like, oh, this is just like a game, waiting until then. Oh, this is just, hey, they wanted to experiment with this to get us to there. Like, I think people are then like cool with it, and it actually helps the reputation of the game and keeps it going. Not that Breath of the Wild has a bad reputation. We're fucking goaty. It's one of the highest rated games of all time. It has a good reputation. I would be interested though, because whenever they do remasters and remakes, everything gets re-reviewed. Would it still review it in 97?
I think it has to at least stay in the 90s.
I think it stays in the 90s for sure. But I think like Tears of the Kingdom didn't rate as high, but almost everyone thinks it's better. So they'd be like, oh, reviewers like, we can't rate it as good as Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm interested what that conversation is going to be like 10 years from now. What game people prefer.
Yeah. I mean, that conversation has been going on for decades now with Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I'm sure people at the time liked Majora's Mask better. Like when it first came out, maybe.
But so Majora's Mask had a lot of pushback when it first came out. I was covering it at Zelda sites back then because shorter, way shorter. People hated the time mechanic. If they found it annoying as shit. But then you had your hardcore that were like, no, this is fucking sweet, dude. These side quests. Have you checked out Andrew and Caffey? You know what's going on in this game. This game is so much deeper than you realize. And dude, by the way, fucking people die in this game. And this isn't like you just fast forward 7 years and it happens. No, it just fucking happens. Like what is going on, dude? We're fighting a fucking moon. Like what are we doing, dude? Like these children inside the moon are saying some fucked up, really deep shit, and they're kids, and it's fucking with my head. And so like there were people that were hardcore about it. Majora's Mask didn't sell that well compared to Ocarina, because I do think a lot of the stuff that you saw in reviews and all this stuff in the commercials kind of a turnoff. The game looked too dark. It had, different characters and a different world, and then go to your 4 dungeons. That was even advertised. Go to 4 dungeons, and people were like, only 4? What the fuck?
Yeah,
like half a game.
That was the sentiment. 100%. That and all the mask.
All the mask. What a fucking weird thing. Why am I putting mask on? Why transforming? Fucking stupid. Give me the goddamn fucking bow and a hook shot. What are we talking about? So it was not very well received. I mean, it reviewed well, of course, but the fan base wasn't very receptive. I think Majora's Mask is one of those that you always had the hardcore that played it and just loved the shit out of it. But then I feel like the sentiment grew for Majora's Mask over time.
Yeah.
When people were finally like years, 5-10 years later, we're like, all right, we got to give this game a try at least. And then all of a sudden, the creepypastas with it. You obviously had the massive theories and editorials built around it that people are like, man, the game's really that deep. I'm like, dude, it's way fucking deeper than Ocarina of Time story. It is deep as shit. But the thing is like, there's always the debate. Does it matter? Is it another dream like Link's Awakening? I don't fucking know, because the Happy Mask salesman at the end just says, fuck you. Takes your shit and you leave. So like it's a very weird ending.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you're cool. Ha ha ha. Thanks for the mask. I'm out. Peace. Like,
because I like Tears of the Kingdom better, but I could definitely see myself maybe changing because the building The building part, I don't know if is going to age the best.
Yeah, and see that's the thing. It'll be interesting if Breath of the Wild, even next year, like people complain, oh, we're getting this remaster, and then they buy it anyways, and they haven't replayed it in a while. Like I haven't replayed Breath of the Wild in a while. So my last experience in the World Series of the Kingdom, I go back and I'm like, guys, I don't think it's just the visuals. This game still fucking rocks. Like I kind of like not being able to build right now.
Yeah.
I kind of like not being able to warp through a mountain, even though it's a really fucking cool mechanic. I kind of like that I can't cheese the shrines as easily.
Yeah. I do like the caves. I like the sky islands.
I'll miss the caves. The caves are legit fucking cool.
They are.
And the wells.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't. Because maybe I'm just having so much damn fun going back to the original champion abilities. And I'll be like, oh yeah, the dungeons aren't as good. But then maybe I like these now because I kind of cheese the dungeons too.
Yeah.
But like the boss fights, okay, yeah, there's no Colgera, there's no but maybe like this cool cutscene with Rivali and we're kicking ass is like I'm now thinking back and getting all nostalgic for it because I'm like, dude, yeah, the Divine Beast, the actual dungeons weren't fantastic, but man, the fucking lead up to them was great. Just amazing. And then I think about the DLC and how good the fucking shrines were in the DLC. Those shrines were fucking great. And I'm like, oh man, you know what? There's a reason like Breath of the Wild is one of the GOATs out there. And I feel like if people haven't played it in a while and their last experience with Tears of the Kingdom, like they might be quickly reminded to be like, hey, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom might be better, but sometimes less is more. And people might, and that's when the real debate begins. Like, God, I fucking love this. And then 5 years after, it's like, God, do I really like this game better than I thought Tears of the Kingdom was better? Oh, then they bring Tears of the Kingdom back in 4K, and then then the debate just fucking rages. Yeah, rages and rages. Now I feel like they do Tears of the Kingdom probably. If they don't have it bundled in, then they'll probably do it after the next 3D Zelda game comes out. Split them up. Do it towards like.
And they do a D-make, and then you're buying it a fourth time.
Oh God. we gotta return it to the core. We're adding it to NSO D-make style.
That'd be dope. Pixel art, freaking.
give us that original when you were experimenting with the pixel version. Yeah, we just want that fully fleshed out, full game. All right. Let's get to the Q&A. We got trolls over on Kick apparently. Dude, I haven't been on Kick. I don't even know if I know my login anymore.
I just saw it because it popped up on our.
Yeah, it was not good.
Well, it was bad.
It was very, very bad.
Let me log into Kick quick.
Yeah, you should make me a mod
on Kick.
Yeah, just so.
Do you have an account on
I
Kick?
Just created one.
Yeah, so you guys that are watching on YouTube can't see this stuff. This is just.
It was extreme.
Oh my God! You sent me a code. What's the code? Where did it get sent to? I don't even know dude, this is my email. Oh, okay, it's my email. I'm like, where the hell is this verification go? That's how long it's been since I've logged in on Kick. But yeah, we streamed to Kick, and I don't actually know how big of a platform Kick is for us.
One person.
There's at least one person watching.
That's me.
That one person, probably getting banned. Hey, I do have an account.
No, that's definitely bad.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Hey, I can delete. How do I do anything to him? Oh, here it is. Got it. Banned. Got it. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Bye, nerd.
Bye-bye. That was fun. All right. Yeah. Just take care of that because if we do get discovered on Kick by people, and I'm not like a big proponent of Kick, but if we do get discovered on there by some people, I'd like them to have a good time, not worry about the kind of shit. Thanks for letting me know, guys. All right, so let's get to the super chats we have. So you guys, want to submit questions right now. This is your last chance to kind of get them in. We don't have a ton tonight. Mustache was the kid on the playground with a large trench coat full of hard drives. I was laugh at it, but I'm like, we got to react. Like
that was good.
That's good. Yeah, I sold those for $5, which was a good amount of money.
That's good.
That's how you buy video games back then. It was a good deal for everybody, win-win situation. And I showed everybody because you guys probably know, but it just wasn't common back in the 90s for people to know how to, like, the shortcut key to switch windows. Because we did this in computer class. My teacher's name, I remember her name was Miss Harding. And I swear to you guys, so your keyboard, she took the keyboards and she put black nail polish over all the keys
Mhm.
because it's a computer typing class,
Mhm.
and she doesn't want you to look at the keys.
Oh, we just had like rubber mats.
Yeah, she was old school. I used to go in there and bring nail polish remover in and pass it around to everybody. Like, all I did in school was pranks. Like, I was telling Michaela about some stuff I did. I said I would be arrested today. Like, no, for real. So my godson is a big Spider-Man fan, right? And I said, I was like, babe, when I was in high school was when the first Spider-Man came out with Toby. And I dressed up as Spider-Man in school. And she knows I was like very fast. Like, I wasn't on track, but they asked me to do track for school, like to compete for a relay and for the was it the 75-yard dash for state. So I did. And so no one's gonna catch me, is my point. It doesn't matter if I'm in the Spider-Man suit. And I used to take stink bombs and smoke bombs and literally open up the classroom door that my friends are in and light them and throw them in there like they're grenades, dude. Yeah, dude. I swear to you, I would do the craziest stuff. And I was telling her that security was chasing me in a golf cart. And of course, like, I blew past them, no problem. And I went right across the street and I just started hopping fences into people's backyards and just kept going over fence until I lost them. You know what I mean? They never knew who it was. They suspected it was me. And of course I did the biggest food fight by far in school history. I did so much planning. People were talking about it at the 20-year reunion when I went last October.
The kids wouldn't get away with any of this shit.
No, I was telling her, I was like, I swear to you, I would. They probably try to put me in jail.
You'd probably be in juvie.
Yeah, juvie for sure. Yeah, you don't want to go to juvie.
No, juvie's not great. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was always doing pranks and trying to make some money in school so I could buy video games.
There we go. Let's see here. Brolin said, "When Nintendo want Switch 2 to come out early in fiscal 2025, they'd have the whole fiscal to sell the new console. Why would they wait if they do?" I do think that they probably want it out in the first half for sure. I mean, remember the new fiscal year begins in April. So anytime in the first couple of months, I think would be advantageous for them. They could have 2 sellout periods. You'd sell out when it launches. You could sell out again at holidays. So I think that's advantageous for them. But if they were to wait, it would just be because things aren't ready. That's basically it. Like, they just don't have enough units made. They don't have software's not ready. Natural disaster takes out Kyoto. You know, so something happens. You know, I don't think that's going to happen, but, you know, something happens. That's what I think. And I don't think it's likely it's in the second half. And I only say this because we already saw in the shipping data that components were ramping up in August. Now, they weren't ramped up to full production levels yet, but like, it was a significant, like 700% jump over the prior month of the number of components being manufactured for Switch 2. So when we get the shipping data here at the beginning of November for the month of September, then we're going to see those numbers significantly even higher than August, which would indicate mass production has begun as of September. So they're not going to sit on those components and sit on assembled units for a year. So that's why I don't really think it's even realistic that it's in the second half of next year. Just off the shipping data. Forget rumors. Forget, gut feelings and hopium copium. Like, the literal data, the number of units being made in August of this year, the components for the units is very similar to the number of components being made in August of 2016. It's very comparable. So it's kind of like, yeah, they're not waiting till the second half. They lose too much money in storage, just storing units.
I think they're going to do a similar thing to Switch.
Yeah.
Release date.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. Sorry, a text message. All right. Let's get to our next one here. I think we got like some gifted member stuff going on. This is crazy. Pooh Many came in and gifted 1 member, and that went to Flash C137 Joshua. pretty unique to see a first name in there plus a username. I like it. Unique. Then we had Super Chat. Here's another Super Chat one. Mason Ripton. Where's Wind Waker, Nintendo?
Right.
I think even Wind Waker 4K next year, we would feel better than like Breath of the Wild 4K right now.
I could see that being a sneaky one of the final like Switch 1 games.
Oh yeah. What if
Yeah.
that's what they're doing? They were just saving Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD to be like some of the final Switch.
I could see that.
That's what we've been saying.
Yeah.
Those two and Galaxy 2. Those are 3 big Nintendo titles
Mm-hmm.
that one is absent from the 3D All-Stars and it makes 0 sense. We've all said this. Nobody knows why it's absent. Okay. The only logical reasoning is that they have other plans for it. You don't just not include the better Galaxy game, in my opinion, the game that has Yoshi as well.
Sure.
Mhm.
You got to have some sort of game plan for it. And I do still believe those Twilight Princess Wind Waker rumors. I think it's just a matter of if it's coming to Switch 1 or Switch 2 in 4K.
Sure.
Mm.
We had Bama Hut come in. Hi, Bama Hut. Don't know if you're still here. Gifted 5 members, and those went to, let me see, we had Aaron Hoop, aka Sir Hoopy. Like that username. Xbox Spartan. I'm assuming that's what you meant, based on the Spartan part of the username. Tyrone Ransom. I hope you're not ransoming much, Tyrone. Mark Burns. And then Daniel Clinton. Hey, those are all usernames I can pronounce. What is happening? That's what's unusual. Those are all usernames I can actually pronounce. Let's see if that continues, because flipping the switch came in and dropped 5 as well.
Let's go.
see. We got Coco. Okay, I got that one. We got Frank Marchant. Maybe. I don't know. That's how I read it.
Marshawn.
It could be Marchant. Yeah, right. Fly Shifty Bits. Oh, man. Dude, I'm on a roll right now.
That was Nate's nickname in
Yeah,
high
right.
school.
Galax DL. I don't know what we're keeping on the DL, but all right. And then Angela Evans. Or Angela Evans. Why did I read it as Angela? What is it? See, there we go. I thought I was on a roll, and then I mess up an easy one. I said it right the first time. Free Metroid Hat came in with a member chat saying, I want Silex in Smash and Conquer in Mario Kart. Dude, Conquer in Mario Kart. Do piss on the track?
I want,
Yeah, and Smash Brothers.
Yeah. I want him in Smash because I want the frying pan to replace the home run bat.
Oh, the frying pan is sick. Yeah. It's a good one. That's a good one. And then It's Ninja, I think was our last super chat, unless I got double check the chat, but I think that's it. Says, hear me out. Zelda in space. You time travel through all the Zelda eras in one game. Sort of like Sonic X Shadow Generations. You know what that game is also called? Hyrule Warriors.
You know what that game's also called? Andre's Dream Game, because it's on the moon.
To the moon. But no, seriously, Hyrule Warriors takes you on a journey through a ton of the Zelda games. You visit a ton of them. And there's I don't want to, I mean, it's not really a spoiler anymore, man. The game goes all the way to Wii U, for crying out loud. And it's on 3DS and it's on Switch.
Yeah, you're good. There's a 10-year spoiler rule.
Yeah, right.
And it's not even canon, guys. Well, some people like to argue it's canon, because if you take in consideration the story and how it connects the worlds together, if you believe Dragon Break brought the timeline back together, so there's still now, as of Breath of the Wild, one solitary timeline, Hyrule Warriors actually has a lot of convenient things that happen in it that could explain the timeline coming back together. But officially, it's not on the timeline. They consider it a spinoff officially. But it is kind of a cool theory on how Hyrule Warriors could actually be the reuniting factor of the timeline. Age of Calamity is also quite fascinating because they haven't clarified if that's on the timeline or not, because technically it does not contradict the timeline, despite popular belief, because the timeline that leads to Breath of the Wild literally happens at the very beginning of the game. And then a time travel moment happens, and that creates a split. As we all know in Zelda, that's a split. So there's just an alternate timeline that they've never made a game to follow. I mean, by the way, The thing with Age of Calamity that also adds some legitimacy that it could be canon, even though it's never been clarified. The story in the game that some people chastise so much at times because of the timeline split was written by the same story writers for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It was the Zelda team story writers that wrote the story for the game. So I'm just saying that, like, literally it was the Zelda team that created the story. So if you hate the story, it can't be canon. It's bullshit. Well, that's the Zelda team for you. So still happen. And I think that's exactly why they did the timelines, but they didn't want to be beholden to the champions dying. Sorry, did I just spoil this? The champions die. No 10-year rule here. Champions.
What? They died?
And at the end of Age of Calamity, they're still alive, which doesn't make sense, except for the fact that there's a timeline event that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah. So it also would be kind of cool if Nintendo would make a game that follows after the end of Age of Calamity with them still alive. That would be cool. Badass. Like, you can't do that for a while. We got to get away from that world. But when we come back, going with the alternate timeline with the champions still alive would be sick. Like 20 years from now, God, that would be awesome. I would love that. They have it.
I gotta play Age of Calamity.
Yeah, it's crazy because everyone's playing it and you keep waiting for the champions to die because we all know they're supposed to die. And then they don't. And then you go back and you're like, what? Wait, what? Hold on, let me go back to the beginning of the game. Oh, fuck. A timeline event happened and the time... Because you didn't think anything about it at the time when it happened. You thought nothing of it until all of a sudden the champions are still alive at the end. And you're like, wait a second. You're not supposed to have that ending. That ending's not real. Sidon, you need to get over here. Your sister's still alive. Oh, man. She's still simping for Link Hardcore.
Right.
Daddy Sidon.
Right.
Sorry, Zelda. I don't know if Zelda can handle... was it Mifa still being alive?
Yeah,
I don't think Zelda can handle that.
Because
if she moves in, she's in my bed.
Yeah,
but Mifa thinks I'm hers. So I didn't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it because she was dead and I don't remember. It was 100 years ago. All right, guys. That's all we have, I believe. I will double check.
Give me one more second here, too.
Oh, what you got?
I got something that's kind of cool. 36 years ago today, Super Mario Bros. 3 was released in Japan.
Wow. Hey, I'm just going to believe you because I don't feel like Googling, and you already have Google up.
Yeah. In Japan, October 23rd, 1988.
I'm looking at what you're reading. I'm pleased that you're not reading the AI because it's wrong half the time. But you're not. You're actually...
Wikipedia.
Well...
I know that's half the time, but there's also a gamer... person on X that
I believe you.
Tweeted it out, and that's what made me.
I'm really bad. You want free engagement from Nintendo fans on like Twitter, post anniversaries of games.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget to do it, but every time I see people do it, it's like, oh, hit thousands of. I'm like, dude, they said like 5 words. It's the anniversary, and they put up a box art.
Yep.
Damn it, I'm not engagement farming enough, guys.
1 week since Mario Party Jamboree.
Yay! Not yet. As of tomorrow, actually, right now. It was playable digital. Version's playable right now. Wait, Japan version was 12 hours ago?
No, I'm good.
All right. That's cool. Dude, Super Mario Bros. 3. Great game. That stayed my favorite. God, no. I debated a lot between that and World for a long time.
I go back and forth too. I think World is mine.
I think World I like better. I'm curious, like right now, my favorite side-scrolling one is Wonder. But I'm curious. I'm still gonna if that's still gonna hold true the next time I replay it in like 5 years. If that if it was just that initial playthrough, which by the way, I will say my initial playthrough of any game is the playthrough that matters the most. When the game's new and I don't know what's gonna happen, because
especially Wonder.
Like a lot of people do like replayability and stuff. I don't understand if that's like a huge factor for some people, but for me, it's like the first time through when I didn't know how that's why it's like, oh, is your opinion like you play it 10 years from now? No, it's not going to feel the same as the first time. I'm not stupid. Like when I replay Breath of the Wild in 4K next year, so it's probably going to happen. I know it's not going to feel as magical as the first time. I'm not dumb. I'm just curious how nostalgic I feel. Because people feel like, nostalgia is a bad thing. Not nostalgia. Look at how it's a positive. There's nothing bad with nostalgia. You like that game because of nostalgia and... And What's the problem? Sorry, I have positive feelings about a game I play. My bad.
Right.
Like, I don't have that for a new game because it hasn't been long enough for me to have nostalgia for it yet. Sorry. My bad. Maybe I'll play Breath of the Wild and I'll actually get frustrated because I'll hit a point where I'm stuck somewhere and I can be like, oh, let me just warp to the sea. Fuck.
Let me just build a bike and fly around.
Yeah. Like, God, you know, I'm so tired of not having enough stamina to get up this thing. Let me just build it. Oh, shit, I can't. Gotta tackle some more fucking shrines. Man, I really wish there were more NPCs in this world, like Tears of the Kingdom. The world is more full in Tears of the Kingdom, just legitimately. Anyways, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for episode 26 of the Nintenbyte Podcast. Sorry, none of our special guests ended up making it on. I can't go into too many details on why Giggly didn't show up, but I'll just say that she was getting on, and then something happened, and she had to stay off. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if we'll ever get Giggly to come on. We're trying. We're trying. She's a huge Nintendo nerd. She really wants to make the show. She works really fucking hard, and she's too busy destroying people on Twitter.
Yes, she is.
She's wrecking people on Twitter every day. You should just follow her account just to enjoy the shit show. It's great. And by the way, not her looking bad, her making everyone else look bad.
Oh yeah.
Like just you want to get her going and get her to find people to block and make look stupid. Just bring up something like, oh, non-pasteurized milk is good for you. There's a reason we pasteurize milk, everyone. I'm just saying, there's a fucking huge reason we do it. But hey, go. You want to sound like an idiot? Go talk about how that's good for you and watch her just wreck your face. She's a Harvard grad, by the way. She's pretty fucking smart. That being said, guys, you guys can go ahead and find the show everywhere the podcast can be heard. Audio version, if it's not up tonight, it's just because I'm downloaded it and I'm too tired, so I'll go to bed and I'll just upload it tomorrow. But either way, it will be up pretty soon. You can go check out the podcast clips channel, Nintenbyte Podcast Clips. That's all you got to do. Look it up. We have it linked all over my channel. I don't know if anyone else ever links to it, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's there. I'm trying to get clips up more consistently, which are just all of our topics in their own segments. Eventually, might put some shorts up over there of like the funniest moments when something crazy happens. You only need like 15 seconds. Or maybe we just put up the Thunderstash story about what he was doing as a kid.
Yeah, I got so many of those stories. It's
I feel like that's slip-worthy right there. But he'll just get a cult following in the YouTube Shorts realm from all his stories that everyone goes nostalgic. Goes like, oh man, back in my day, dude, I used to break people's faces on the playground in King of the Mountain on the snow pile. You do that today, they don't even let us climb on the snow pile.
Right.
They don't. They legitimately don't. My kids cannot climb on the snow pile. It's just not allowed. I'm like, fucking bullshit. Dude, get in that pile and break your arm. Be a kid.
Great.
And there's like no such thing as a snow day anymore because they have to do all the shit at home now.
Oh my God. Yeah, no snow day. No, we're just going to do a meeting and we're going to email you all the homework to print off. And I'm like, dude, the fuck?
Yeah.
Let them have an off day, man. It's a snow day. You know what a kid wants to do on a snow day? Go play in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
God damn, you gotta let kids be kids sometimes. Anyways, as a parent, it's kind of nice because then school's not extended like halfway through fucking June. That used to be a thing every year. But all right. Nintendo Talk. Got anything going on?
I always got stuff going on. I'll be streaming. I got a couple sponsored things coming up. I recently played Eternites, which is part dating simulator, part JRPG, freaking action RPG. It was actually really good. It's like a story-driven game. Yeah, Cozy Games. I do have a Cozy podcast as well. Slow Burn podcast everywhere. Yeah, thanks for.
I should listen to that podcast sometime.
Dude, it's big, man. It's big on Spotify.
Is it really? Shit.
Don't act so surprised, Nate.
Who's on the podcast with you?
Me, Peyton's Corner, and Nintendo Gaming.
Okay, so it's the other two. I understand.
Yeah, I just show up. Dude.
So you said Peyton's Corner. I'm like, oh fuck. Well, there we go. I'm not just playing that. Eric.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey,
That's it.
The Bucks won.
Yeah.
They looked really good at times.
Yeah.
And kind of at times, but you know.
It's first game of the season.
First game of the season.
Suns are
And-
close right
It
now.
was, and it was, the
I
Suns
know.
game
I'm
is
like the edge of my seat.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
1
that
point
is-
game now. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Bradley Beal on my fantasy team, so he can go ahead into 3 right now. That'd be sick.
I'm chilling, dude. Celtics look like gods, man.
Yeah,
know.
dude. I think all Celtics fans are chill. They just assume it's going back to back at this point.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say, I hope that when the Celtics and Bucks play each other for the first regular season game, that they're both actually fully healthy with everyone on the court. I will actually want to, because we haven't really seen fully healthy both those teams go at it, and they didn't meet in the playoffs last year. And I'm just curious how like the Bucks stack up to the fully healthy Celtics. I don't know. At the Knicks, I think the Knicks might have got worse, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like they got rid of their defensive identity with the trade to try to get more offense, which isn't going to work against a team that can play offense and defense.
And what did
Oh, what they
McHale
did-
do?
I was about to say, what the hell did they do to Mikhail?
Well, he
Yeah.
changed his form.
Yeah.
He talked about it all summer, and it's like, dude, that is not transitioning.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
No,
This is the
he played
Nintendo Ball
horrible in
podcast,
preseason.
everyone.
But I will say, hey, watching the Bucks tonight, Dame looks like fucking Dame, baby.
Mm.
And Giannis looked like fucking Giannis, and they did it in the same game. It's like the first time since they've been together, they did it in the same fucking game. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. That is what I'm talking about. And you sprinkle a little K-mid in later, hopefully not broken ass.
K mid.
Hey, he's been the Bucks' #1 playoff performer in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. Yeah.
About injuries, he's literally been our best playoff player the
He's
last
been
2 years.
clutch.
But unfortunately, we can't get Dame and Giannis healthy to the damn playoffs. So hopefully that happens this year. We'll see what happens. But I do want to see a healthy Celtics, because the thing was, I think the one time they were technically all healthy, the Bucks blew out the Celtics so fucking bad they benched everyone in like the second quarter. Remember that last year? Like it was weird game. Like I could just like, granted, I was laughing to the bank, but I'm like, but I know this is an outlier. This doesn't happen in the NBA. They went on to win the championship. You don't go up by 50 in like one quarter. It just doesn't happen in the NBA. So I don't even know what to like. I have zero takeaways from the game. Either the Bucks healthy are like the massive kryptonite to the Celtics, and they just can't figure them out, or it was a fluke, and it probably was a fluke. But see, my thing is, all I want, and regardless of if the Bucks go to the finals, I want a championship, right? Obviously. But I want a rematch. I want Bucks Celtics in the playoffs. I don't care what round it is. I want it. Last time went 7 games with just Giannis. I want it. I want
Before he requests a trade.
I don't think he's going to request a trade, but I
No.
think if they get bounced in the first round, it's kind of like, what are the Bucks going to do? Because 3 years in a row. And the thing is, every time they get bounced, people are fucking hurt. Giannis was hurt both the times they got bounced in the first. Like, yeah, what a surprise! You take away one of the best players in the NBA, you're not getting out the first round. Who knew? Who knew? Yeah. Oh, well, the Celtics have like fucking 7 all-stars. Yeah, one can go down. They're fine. They're good. Jason Tatum wasn't even finals MVP. They didn't even need him. He probably could have just not even played in the finals and they would have won. That was such a lopsided finals. Oh, man. Anyways, we'll see what happens. I don't know who's coming out the West. Speaking of coming out the West, Thunderstash.
There you go. Man.
Good transition. Yeah, you guys, you can find me on YouTube at Thunderstash Gaming. I just posted a review yesterday of the new Ghostbusters 2 for the NES. It never came out in the United States. And it is a really cool game. And I will say that when the credits were rolling, I became a little, I wouldn't say emotional, but I was like, oh man, seeing the name up there, Satoru Iwata.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh,
Yeah, he helped make that game. I was just like, oh man. But yeah, check that out. That was really cool. Ghostbusters game. You guys know how it is with licensed stuff, especially back in the day. If a good licensed game came out, it pretty much the only way that was going to happen is if Capcom made it. And it was one of their Disney games, right? Because those games were amazing. Outside of that, I have impressions coming. First impressions for Silent Hill 2 remake. I recorded them earlier. Just need to add my B footage and get that posted. And that game has been something else. It's definitely not what I expected, but in a good way. So, but there's a lot to talk about. But this is a first impressions video, so it's not something I normally do. It's something new I'm trying. So yeah, check that out. It should be up hopefully tomorrow or the next day.
All right. Pretty sick. All right, guys. What do I have coming? Did you watch my channel? It's probably a Switch 2 video tomorrow. I don't fucking know. To be fucking honest, I don't fucking know. To be fair, like before the last 2 videos, 5 of the prior 8 were not Switch 2. I mean, if for all I know, maybe I'm talking about the NSO game tomorrow because now we know everything. For sure, everything.
I will say at the beginning of the podcast when it first started, people were pretty negative on it. I'm seeing a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the initial demo area when they're teaching you is like, okay, this looks like basic as fuck.
Now people are like, this is kind of good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, hey, I gotta get past the tutorial and actually see what the game is. That's what I'm saying. Like that could end up being the thing, but like I can't give an impression. So I don't know how I'd talk about it. So it'd probably best saved for the podcast episode next week when you guys can actually say something. And maybe our guest will be I don't even have a guest. Oh yeah, I do. We have Mike Odyssey next week. I don't know if he got in on it. Beats the hell out of me.
No,
Mike Odyssey.
I'm kidding.
He didn't.
He's a Floridian. That's why you didn't know about him. Damn Floridians. And I'm not talking about like, hey, hurricane stuff. Hope you guys are recovering well. But like, there's a reason that jokes about Florida.
Did he get in the test?
I don't think so.
No,
Oh, okay.
he didn't. He's tweeted and said he didn't get in.
Yes.
You
Boom.
won?
We
You
just
won?
went up by 1. KD got an and 1. We're the first to 100. That's always special. That always means something. For anyone who's superstitious, you know, first one to break 100. He's going to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's true. Man, dude, are the Clippers good?
No, but Harden's just
Harden.
he's having a night.
Yeah, I mean, his shooting numbers don't look great. 2 for 9 from 3, 9 for 25. But 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and I know he's a free throw fiend. Free throw merchant, man. He just draws fouls like a MFer. Oh, you know what's doing it for him? A Zubac. Zubac's having a game, 8 for 12. Maybe he's just getting people involved. Dude, you know what? Actually, the Clippers bench. Now that I'm just looking at the stats, you know, K. Jones, 3 for 5. Coffee's 4 for 4. Yeah, I guess some guys just had some good shooting nights.
Yeah,
Happens.
it does.
But like when you got KD, Nurkic, Beal, Booker, I mean, you should be blowing them out.
I know.
maybe this whole KD, Booker, and Beal experiment is going to prove yet again for another season to not be worth it.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Tyus Jones is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I went on record. I was on my friend's son's podcast multiple times over the summer before we even played a game with the big three, going on record stating that we need a point guard. We absolutely need one. We can't ask Book and Beal to do it. It's going to increase their usage rate dramatically. It's going to lead to more injuries, and you take away from the things that they do great to ask them to do something sometimes good, which is run point. It was a bad move. I said it from the beginning, and then I was proven right over the summer when, you know, our GM James Jones said the same thing. He finally admitted, yes, we need a point guard. And then literally when we had CP, we were top 5 in the league in assist to turnover ratio. The whole time we had CP, we get rid of him. What do? We go to bottom 5 in the league. Literally go from top 5 to bottom 5.
With the Spurs play today, I'm kind of curious if CP still got it.
Wow.
What the Spurs played today? No,
He's going to help them tremendously.
Well, he's gonna rack assist up. Oh yeah, their first game's tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, he's really good for offense. He's very, very good at getting guys involved. Yeah, he'll be able to do that forever. It's just court vision, knowledge, passing, reading defenses. He'll be able to do that until he's like 50. He's just gonna get hurt every year. But it's kind of CP's kind of. It sounds like the whole thing we were talking. I'm like, it kind of sounds like maybe you should get rid of Chris Paul.
Yeah, but he's always hurt. But Tyus Jones leads the league in assist to turnover ratios. He actually holds the record in league history. It's amazing that we got him.
That's actually crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, him and Monty Morris is second best in the league in assist to turnover ratios.
Yeah,
that's our backup point guard.
8 assists to 0 turnovers today.
It's tied up 1-1 with a minute 5 left.
Of course it is. Who hit the shot for the Clips?
Harden,
of course.
Of course.
Why am I even asking? He's going to take every shot down the stretch right now.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh my god.
Turnover.
No, we're just like sliding all over the damn court. Like no one mopped it. It's like, come on, man.
All right, Nate, put these people out of their misery.
All
Right.
Oh, live sports commentary.
Yeah.
We'll find out next week if Sash is happy or not, and his Suns have not won a game.
Harden doing his free throw merchant shit.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Later, guys. We'll be on same time next week with Mike Odyssey. Rowdy out October. By the way, just to remind you guys, it's basically our Halloween episode next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It'll be fun.
I don't know if you guys are dressing up or not, but I'm just saying if we're going to dress up, that's the time.
Halloween Havoc.
Fog machine going over here. And
Dress up as a Celtics fan.
Eric, if you don't have a costume, I have a panda suit you can wear.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, please.
It's very
Yeah.
warm. It's very warm,
Yeah.
but it's a panda.
Let's dress up. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So what are we going to dress up as? I guess we'll keep it as a surprise.
Yeah.
I promise it won't be a Milwaukee Bucks fan. That's just who I am. That's not dress up.